Teams newly joined in S2 will enter Group B. Teams from each group will be playing against each other in a BO2 single round robin format in 9 days, with 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 point for a loss. After the first round, the qualification for the game will be determined based on the point ranking. The teams ranked 5th and 6th in Group A and top 2 teams in Group B will compete for promotion and relegation format in 2 BO5 games on August 11th. The winning 2 teams will enter Group A in the second round, and the losers will enter Group B. The second round of the regular season will start on August 13th. All teams will have their past points cleared and will participate in a 9-day intra-group BO2 single round robin. After the game, all teams in Group A and the top 2 teams in Group B will qualify for the playoffs, while the remaining 4 teams will be eliminated. After the regular season comes to an end, the playoffs will start on August 31st. The 8 qualifying teams will compete in a 5-day double elimination competition, as shown in the diagram, for the 2 tickets to the finals. The much-anticipated KAW League Season 2 Finals will take place on September 7th. There will be a BO7 single elimination competition, and when the game is at 3-3, it will enter the Ultimate Battle Mode. And then the first team to win 4 games will be crowned the Ultimate Champion. Finally, we are pleased to announce that the champion of the KAW Season 2 will be directly for the 2023 KIC Wildcard Qualified competition, and they will compete with teams from other countries and regions for a place in the 2023 Honor of Kings International Championship. Who is favored to win the championship? Let us look forward to it together.
Hi everyone, this is a live show of Honor of Kings Asian Wave Event Season 2 and I'm today's caster Nora. I'm back again and I'm really glad that I'm gonna cast today's matchup because we know that today's matchup is going to happen between Group A, and we know that Group A are always be considered as the strongest team. So today we're gonna go through 3 best of 2. Again, the format stayed the same for our regular season, even round 1 or round 2. And the first matchup will be Scars play against Nova. So today's matchup is going to be really interesting because again, I do want to refer a little bit to our format because in Season 2, actually our format changed a lot compared to Season 1. So after our first round in our regular season, which will end up within 3 or 4 days, and we will go to our promotion and relegation. The reason why I mentioned about our promotion and relegation is because actually our teams are divided in 2 different groups. So the 5th team and also the 6th team from Group A will play against the top 2 teams from Group B to vie for the ticket to stay at Group A in round 2 in our regular season. So that's the importance of doing that promotion and relegation. And further information, if you stay at Group A in our regular season in round 2, that also means you're at least secured your place going into the playoffs. You know, that actually matters a lot, you know, because if you stay in the Group 8 again, if you stay in Group 8 in our round 2 in regular season, that also means at least you're gonna secure the tickets going straight into the playoffs. On the contrary, if you just remain at the Group B, the only way that you're gonna going into our playoffs is going to be gaining for that top 2. So that's gonna be actually a huge challenge for all of those teams. And referring to our format and referring to our promotion and relegation format, actually we should going through our current rank again. Make sure that you guys stay really clear about our current ranking. And we can see from Group A, actually Nova claim at the top 1 team, because they actually got 3 wins in a row and they never lost any game And actually, Scars will take the second place, and that's gonna be the RCG. So the problems will be on RTZ and KG because again, the fifth and sixth teams in Group A will play against the top two teams, which currently will be BSE, MNH, or Fano. Two of those three teams play against RTZ or KG currently, and gaining for that ticket to stay still at Group A when we're going to our second round in our regular season. So that's the current information, and today's matchups actually matters a lot, especially for RTZ and also KG. But again, back to our first matchup, Scars play against Nova. I bet that you guys can see that these two teams are actually showing their dominance right now in our season 2, because currently Nova are claiming at the first place and Scars are at the second. And we can check the lineup from Scars again. Both teams actually rotate a little bit, but always stay the same. And actually, like their composition, their selection, always showing the same tend. You know, they tend to pick up the same comp. They tend to pick up their signature hero. So I guess the same thing will happen today too. And here it is, the lineup for Nova. All of those members definitely is going to be really familiar with us, especially Sean, right? The FMVP from season 1, since Nova actually got the championship in season 1. And also Hui and Tao, which gonna be Nova's support. Actually, they rotate a little bit. It depends on their playing style. Hui would be considered as more aggressive a player. On the contrary, if they try to let Hao to substitute for Hui, somehow that they try to, pressure more at their farming lane and let Hao to be more protective. Alright, and here's the team data comparison, and we can see the data statistics actually stay quite similar. And it's really surprising to see that actually Scars have the higher average kill per match against Nova, because actually from the beginning of season 2 or from the image that we have towards Scars, we always consider Scars as a more operating favorite team. They never been really dedicated into team fight. Actually, they always want to play safe and operate a lot of things and try to do those pushing strategy. But actually, recently it seems like they are more into those fights, and especially they try to build up those comp with 2 tanks or 2 warriors paired up with that Sunbin strategy. They use this a lot in recent matchups. And on the other side for Nova, we can see that the most striking statistics would definitely be the total gold. That also means actually Nova, they have a really clear mind about how they're gaining all of those objectives and how they're trying to scaling up in the whole game. That might be one of the secrets that why they're just being really dominant in this game so far. Alright, let's dive right into game 1. Again, we're still doing the best of 2, so there's going to be 2 games, and whoever wins 2 games in a row, that's going to be 3 points in their hand, and if it makes to a draw, 1 point to both teams. And the first ban picks, we can see Nova actually dealt this Sunbin. We mentioned about Scars recently. They changed their playing style a little bit, changed their operating strategy into more aggressive one. For example, they really like to use Sunbin and put 2 tanks in front of their lineups. And Nova definitely figure it out and just ban the Sunbin away. And also Tai Jun would be one of those signature heroes from the Scar side. So as Shenmengxi was out, definitely Shenmengxi will be the top choice, especially ASD. is known of playing this Shimoshi. Even when Scars was participating in that KIC 2022, ASD was the mid laner at that time, so he's really good at playing this Shimoshi. Not even mentioning to Shimoshi is always going to be the classic and OP hero. Even the patch changed a lot, but Shimoshi stayed there. And Nova take out this Lubon master and also this Jin and Lime. You know, it's really interesting to see two like core assassins playing against each other, because we've seen those tanks play against each other a lot. For example, like Kaiser play against Xiaohodun, or maybe Arta play as a jungler. It's been a while to see like Jin play against Lime. And that's a really wise choice for Nova to take out this Haya, because Haya's ulti allowed this hero or allowed this team to just easily pull that Xiaohodun out. So if Scars, they choose to have only like a single tank standing in front of all of those backliners, that might be a problem, because Haya can just, you know, do those 1-1 solo and drag you out. And that actually create a really nice setting for Jin, just directly just aiming at all of those backliners from Scar's side. The pressures on both marksmen we can see. And here's some really interesting information that I want to share with you guys, that Nova actually from their previous games, they only used Garo and also KAW. They only used 2 marksmen, and both marksmen actually having 100% winning rate. So that's one of the most interesting part about Nova, because they really stayed the same strategy, especially for their marksman or for their bottom jewels. And this time that might be Garo again, I guess, you know, because Garo would be a really nice marksman to play against Gongsun Li, since Garo has a longer attacking range. So maybe Garo will be the answer for Nova. We don't know. Let's wait and see. And for Scar's side, here's another interesting fact, that actually Scar's the mid laner always use the same hero, and this is gonna be his first time to picking out this Shimoshi, because in the previous matchup he only used Ishin or Zhao Jun, but this time since Shimoshi would be out, so Shimoshi definitely gonna be the most OP choice. While Nova Esports, they take out this Styranger, so that also means it's going to be Mootsy's very first time to use this Styranger in our Season 2. But again, I only mentioned about Season 2 because Mootsy is known of his variety of hero cores. I still remember in Season 1, actually Mootsy has quite a higher ranking in those MVPs. So Mootsy actually, he's really good at playing those immobile marksman, I would say. For example, KAW or Garo or Styranger. On the other side, Autumn. Autumn is always known of his flexed marksman, especially heroes like Gongsun Li. Because, you know, Gongsun Li really requires high mechanics, and Autumn, he's always going to use all of those mobility and flexibility that Gongsun Li has, try to showcase a little bit, and always gonna build up a lot of, you know, make a lot of miracle happen or make a lot of things happen. So that's the difference you guys definitely can see, right? From these two teams, actually Nova Esports try to highlight more about their upper side of the map. For example, they always want Shine to have a really nice position and help the team to initiate. On the other side, for Team Scars, actually Scars always trying to pressure more on their farming lane and let Autumn to lead the whole pace. So that's the difference between these two teams, and that's gonna be the game 1 happening between the first place and the second place in our current ranking. It's gonna be a really fun game. Let's dive right into it. Scars on the blue side and Nova on the red side. Some trades can be seen in the mid lane, and actually from the trade, Nova Esports definitely win the upper hand because they just lock in Shimoshi in the mid lane. Because, you know, usually Shimoshi would definitely just go overstep a little bit and try to use his first ability and gaining the priority about cleaning up the first round of the minions and try to rotate a little bit or try to, steal away some of the camps a little bit. But this time, we know that Nova Esports, they're really experienced, so they know that you're gonna play in that style. They just let that Luba master to use his first ability and jump directly on that Shimongshi, help them to, just even up the first priority. And that's the most fun part about casting the strongest teams, because we're not, just trying to analyze all those comps from a third perspective or from like a big picture, like, okay, they're gonna doing great in the early game or they're gonna doing great in the mid game. Everything just happened hiding behind all of the details. Details matters a lot because every single details, even like whoever got the lower HP bars or whoever gaining away more resources will help them to scaling up, will help them to make it into a huge gap. And that's the most, important part when we're trying to find out what exactly these templates trying to do right now on the battlefield. It's not only about just roaming from the upper side to the bottom side. It's not that easy. All right, it's going to be half past 2:30, and everything just went so peaceful because both teams actually need time to farm out a little bit. As we mentioned about Nova Esports, they rely a lot on the jungler, which will be Air, and he's playing this Jhin. So Jin's farming pace matters a lot. So you can see actually Air, he's just passing from a really regular jungler passing, from the blue side to the red side and try to eat up all of those guys on the confronted lane. Again, this is going to be the second round for Jhin to, replay the same passing route. And we can see Shun, right? The rotation, the rotation that is happening right now from Nova Esports side is that they try to let Shun to rotate down and gaining the vision in the mid. Gaining the vision in the mid help Nova Esports to have more information. And we can see Moses Purify has been forced out. It's a little bit complicated because wait, let's first put our eyes on the top side and we can see Jhin already claims the first blood. It's gonna be a solo. And at the bottom side, good news again happening for Nova Esports. And though Alton tried to showcase a little bit, but Moses' ultimate, nice protection provided by Shu. If it's not because of Shu's ultimate try to stun this Luba Master a little bit, it's gonna be really close for Alton being taken down by the support from Nova Esports. And let's watch the replay again. First of all, we can see it was Jhin tried to do the solo on Lime. He's the one tried to initiate and his ulti was directly triggered on that Lime. And Lime is one of those heroes if he's, out of all those lanings or out of all of those opponents, it's really hard for him to stack off his passive and try to maximize his output. The synergy between Nova just being tighter and tighter. And we know that this patch actually requires the confront laners to play into two totally different roles, right? You can play as the tank and at the same time you definitely need to master the warriors. And again, Jhin tried to carry his team, find a really nice position and take out River's Shahoutun. by trying to pull that line in, and Shana is still chasing now, and he know that it's gonna be a little bit overcommitted, so he chose to retreat a little bit. And at the same time, they just take out the first tower on the top side from Scar's time. Scar's. Everything went so well. I mean, it's just been really well for Nova.
Destroyed a turret.
I mean, we know that from the statistics that we see, right, from the board before the matchup, we can see Nova Esports has definitely a higher total gold compared to Scars. That also means actually Nova Esports, they had a more clear mind towards the whole map or towards the game pace. That's the reason why they can just, you know, improve the efficiency. For example, let's just recheck Jin's passing route again. Every single minute, actually, Jin just, you know, used it completely. He just fully used his time, and he tried to refresh his camp again and again. So actually, the efficiency that he got from the passing will help him to gain more resources, because, you know, the faster you clean up all those minions or all those camps will help you to, you know, refresh them in a quicker way. And due to the goal difference, actually, this Jin will be really dominant in the mid game, because Jin is one of those heroes to go either way, and we can check the goal difference. Actually, he got 1,000 goal lead compared to the slime. And also, like, mention about the efficiency again. Actually, like, the way that how Air is trying to build up his equipment is really cost effective. You know, it saves money, and it maximizes not only your attacking power but also your armor defense. And that's the details that we mentioned again and again when we're casting those strongest teams. And now we can see Ed, he's always been really busy, right? From the blue side to the red side, from the blue camp to the red camp, again and again, try to clear up all those monsters in his own field. At the same time, he needs to carry the responsibility about cleaning all those minions and try to do the splatter push. And meanwhile, he needs to do some kills. And again, Autumn's just gonna be the one to stand out and bring Scars back again. Double kill goes over to Autumn. You could always trust Autumn, you know. Wow, but not this time, because we can see how fast. You can see from the minimap, like, how fast Air was trying to block up his teammate. He was there, you know, at the bottom lane and trying to take down the tier 1 tower. But simply, he just being aimed at the top side of the map. He's just playing out like a ghost. So Autumn has no idea that why would Jin be there. Jin's supposed to be at his own field and try to, you know, just farm it up a little bit. But that would be a really bad news for Scars, because constantly, definitely this hero and also this player Autumn can always make a lot of miracles happen and try to even up the game. But the problem is, due to the goal difference, Ghostly would be really squishy if he wants to contest Jin, you know, because of the goal difference, and also because of the power in the mid game. Ghostly would be like one of those marksmen has great power in the early game due to his own mobility, but in the mid game he's gonna be really squishy because there's no way for him to build up some tanky items to help him to stay longer during the team fight. So you would always see Ghost only be targeting by anonymous output, and suddenly just, you know, his HP bar being taken halfway down. It seems like Javier trying to do some solos, but it seems out he picked the right person. He did the solo on this line, did a 1-1 trade, but Autumn find out the plays and make some constellation effort. At the same time, Jin find a real nice support and make it to a 1-1 trade. However, actually at the 10 minutes mark, so it's gonna be a really good news for Nova Esports.
Overlord has been defeated.
Well, the 10 minutes mark also means the Dark Tyrants, the Dark Overlord is already spawned. So after he got that trade, he just directly, straightly towards that Dark Tyrants and help them to gaining that Tempest, to gaining that Epic Monster would also mean Nova Esports will have a stronger minions, those Vanguards. Not even mentioned too, they're still holding the Shadow Pass. And the Shadow Pass, once they release it, will help them to clean up all of those opponents' minions, and also when they try to fight on, now it would be the farming lane, when they try to fight at the farming lane, they will gain 10% extra armor defense. That's the best thing that you're gonna gain from the Dark Shadow Overlord.
Red team has destroyed a turret.
And that's exactly what Nova is planning to do. And let's see a small trigger that they're playing, and we can see Air find out a really nice position, and Autumn has been taken away again. Haya take out this Lem again, so actually there's no core players left for Scars. And they are waiting for this Lem coming out with such a lower HP bars, and there's Vanguards at the bottom. I guess it's gonna be the end for Scars, because Nova Esports definitely well utilize all those Vanguards and try to close out the game. Congratulations to Nova Esports. Just try to close out the game within even 30 minutes. I didn't expect that this kind of thing would happen, because we know that actually Nova Esports now are at the first place. We know that they're quite dominant right now in our season 2, but at the same time we know that Scars actually they only lost 1 game, so they lost 0 game and they got 2 wins in a row. They're actually claiming at the 2nd place. So it's gonna be the game play against top 1 against top 2. So Nova Esports win against Scars, and I would say they totally outplayed Scars. That also means maybe the hierarchy would be a little bit different to what we used to think, because we can see maybe Nova Esports will have a really huge gap against other teams, and I'm really impressed about Nova Esports, because again, you know, from this patch, it's not enough for you to only have one strategy or one comp. For example, for your confront laners, you need to play well both for your tank and also for your warrior. And this time we can see Sean playing quite well with this Changgu, right? From I still remember, like, it's maybe 3 minutes, and they just let Jin to eat up all those minions on the confront lane and try to let Shen rotate down, gaining all those visions and trying to initiate a little bit. And also we can see that the trick that Nova Esports is doing right now is that when they're playing against Scars, they know that Scars is one of those teams who really like to let the marksman to carry the team. So this time we can see the strategy that Nova is using is trying to make sure that Musi playing with the Styringer will help them to, you know, even up the farming lane, and at the same time they try to let their jungler to have more gold, and once the farming pace would be not that balanced from Lam and Jin, well, let Jin to carry the game or lead the game pace in the mid game, because we can see actually Lam has been pulled into Haya's ulti again and again. You know, those space, those room that Haya created. It's more like we should put it in this way, that Haya is sacrificing herself, trying to pull out this line, do that 1-1 trade, and at the same time that offer this Jin. This time the MVP goes to the Jin, And it's all because of his teammates' sacrifice that they made, offer this Jin a really comfortable farming pace, a really comfortable farming room. And it seems like Air is totally trustworthy, so they just try to give Air such a great priority to let him to have maybe like 30% of the gold from the total team, and let him to carry the team. 601 KDA, really nice one. And let's just check the damaged out, right? 21.5% damaged out. That would consider as a really high statistics to those assassin junglers, because assassin jungler is always going to be the one to do the fatal strike, so the damaged out won't be that kind of high, because it's always going to be like the most crucial one. And this time I really want to highlight the last team fight, because we can see the strategy, right, showing so clear on the battlefield. First, Jin with his gold lead, he just directly aiming at the Autumn, which will be the core play from Scar's side, and take that insta kill. Once Autumn was absent from the battlefield, we can see Scar's a little bit lost, right? It seems like they do not have their shot callers. They do not know that which gonna be the core player from the rest of the team member. Not even mention to actually again Haya sacrifice herself, pull out that Lime. So actually both Lime and Gong Sun Li was absent from the last team fight, and that just put Scars like greatly fall behind against Nova Esports. And that's what we call strategy, and that's what we call the execution about your comp. Clearly we know that Nova Esports, they know that the reason why they chose this kind of comp is because, first of all, they know that the jungler is 100% trustworthy. They know that as long as you give him enough gold, enough like experience, he will just help the team to build up such a great gap, because the moment and also like the sensation he got about which would be the right moment for him to do the gank is just really good, really nice. And also they take out this Haya. Haya is none of his strategic functions. So Haya just giving up all of those mid lanes, giving up all of his farmings, and at the same time he pulled out that Lime again and again, try to interrupt Lime's farming pace, and that's what we call the balance. Once one jungler was far behind against another, that also means the balance was totally broke in the whole game. So that's some of those deep analysts that we are having right now towards Nova Esports. And let's see for game 2, while they change their strategy, or while Scars try to use that most signature hero and try to bring 1 point back, at least make it to a draw. Game 2, they change their side. Nova Esports stay at the blue side, while Scars stay at the red. Nova Esports, once they use the Jin, and they know that Anthorn is also a really nice assassin jungler, so they just ban away the Jin. And Sunbi, no doubt again. At the same time, Tai would be a really, really nice choice, because we know that Tai just have such a great winning rate in our season 2. Or it's not only in our season 2, but also like in the whole game when you're doing Honor of Kings. You can always trust a Tai Jun. And actually, Hui has 100% winning rate when he's playing with this Tai Jun. And for Scars, wow, signature hero that it is, AST taking out this Zhao Jin. AST used Zhao Jin 3 times and actually had 100% winning rate. Never lost one game. And again, Mutsi, step back to his comfort zone a little bit, because once you already got the match point, there's nothing that you should worry about. So again, KAW it is. We mentioned about Nova Esports from the previous matchups. Actually, they rely on Mootsy's KAW and KAW a lot. Last game, the Duran actually will be the first marksman that Mootsy used that would not be KAW or KAW in Season 2. So definitely KAW has 100% winning rate. Miyamoto Musashi, it seems like Nova Esports, they try to use the most confident comp and try to win against Scars again. And also, Scars is carrying out one of those, I would say, strong comps, because we know that River is a really great Xiangyu player, and also like the accuracy when ASD is trying to use the Zhao Jing, the combo that this team has, Zhao Jing's second ability paired up with other like control ability always let them to initiate and engage in quite a good way. So both teams are playing serious right now. But that would be quite a good relief to both teams, is that since the ranking are quite high, so they do not worry a lot about the about the positions, right? They don't need to worry about whether they're gonna play going to play our promotion and relegation format or not, because they are in quite a safe position. But both teams really need to prepare for the next format, because we know that currently we're doing best of 2, right? Which also means we're only gonna go through 2 games in each matchup. But when we're doing promotion and relegation, we're gonna doing best of 5, and when it goes into our playoffs, we're gonna continue to play with our best of 5 format. So in that case, both teams, they really need to prepare a little bit about best of 5, the hero pools, like the way that how they're gonna comp themselves a little bit, because our schedule are quite high intense, so it's gonna end up within like 1 month. Both team really needs to be serious about the variety about their hero pools and also their comp. And when we're talking about all of those format changes, actually the comp has been selected. And from this game, we can see both teams try to play safe, right? Especially for Nova Esports, they try to play with their safe choice. Mongtian on the top side, and Mootzy using his 100% winning red KAW, playing at the farming lane. It's a typical pushing comp that we can see from Nova's side, right? Ishin's ulti and also Mongtian's ulti will help them to, just scatter their enemies a little bit and try to let Mootzy just taking out all of the towers. And on the other side, for Scars, it's more like a fighting strategy. They really need to complete their comp in quite a tight way, help them to gain the priority to engage. Alright, and let's dive right into our game 2. Nova Esports on the blue side, while Scars on the red. It's really great to see Scars playing such aggressive comp, because we know that though Alexio, this marksman, would be considered as one of the late game playing style marksman, but due to this port, right, Lambert will offer his allies like extra armor defense and also like the vision control, especially from minute 1 to minute 6 to 6 minutes. So that will let Scars to win the upper hand at least about the vision control before 6 minutes, and that's gonna be the good news for Scars. The problem is how they're gonna utilize the vision control. Again, flash in combined with the second ability, and here's gonna be Yixin try to flash down and protect his precious marksman a little bit. seems there's gonna be some skirmishes happening right now on the confront lane. Tai trying to use his second hand, try to initiate, but seems already hiding his vision and flash out. Riven still remains safe under his tower's protection. And Yao tried to do some damage on those minions. It's really hard for you to do the tower dive before 4 minutes. But for Nova Esports, from these skirmishes, we can see Xuan definitely win the upper hand and will let this Mountain to always outplay the Xiangyu from now on. Because they trade out, it's not trade out, they force out Xiangyu's flash. And without this flash, Xiangyu would be like really immobile and would be an easy catch by his opponent. It seems like Lambert just going really deep into his opponent's bush. We know that Scars, they know that they're just really strong into those vision controls. But the problem is, without that flash, again, both Xiangyu or Lambert relies a lot on their flash to help them to have like extra distance to get away about a lot of surroundings. And furthermore is that once Lambert has been taken down, we can see like the combo that Nova is having right now, right? Second ability provided by Ishin tried to drag that Lambert backward and combined with Tai Junior's extra stun, help them to take that Lambert down. I mean, like furthermore about Scars is that once Lambert has been taken down once before 6 minutes, it's gonna be really hard for them to gain the vision control back. Or they can just try to initiate a little bit and try to play their own CC chain and try to do some kill trade and gain something back. The reason is because Lambert, though his passive can allow them to gain extra armor defense, but like the output is totally not enough. So from now on, once Nova Esports, they just rotate this Mountain down, let Mountain to play the tank role, trying to gain the vision control. And at the same time, Nova Esports, their damage out would be like far more enough than Scars, and also like those small CC, those small soft combo chains that we can see from Nova's comp will let them to gain the priority and win the upper hand. And that's exactly how Nova Esports is running this game right now. To rotate this Mountain down, right? Mountain plus Ishin. We mentioned about the CC chain again, nice initiation, but the problem is Alexio has been catched by this Mountain. And without Alexio, there's no way for Lambert to get out about all of those ganks. You see, that's a problem. That's a problem. Those guys trying to play aggressively, but while like the Lambert can only gain the vision to make sure that no one's actually hiding in those bushes. But once he's trying to initiate, there's no way for him to protect Alexio. And now another skirmish is happening on the top side. Nice gank that we can see from Scars. They're trying to aim it at Miyamoto Musashi. But it seems like they're over committed a little bit. They thought that they can take Shen away too. But the problem is, as long as Mountain has his ulti, will allow him to gain like some lifesteal and also extra armor defense. But still, it was a really nice gang because at least they take down this Miyamoto Musashi. And once Miyamoto is absent in the mid game, somehow Scars can make sure that their backline is going to be really safe.
Tyrant has been defeated.
Ishin tried to break his ulti and KG 4 people, but the problem is that no damage can come up with him. So that's going to be some sort of waste of his ulti. Because we can see Nova Esports, after they know that Miyamoto Musashi's farming pace has been interrupted a little bit, they just directly change their mindset. You can see like the rotation that they're making right now, just trying to protect Mutsi, this Garrow, right? to eating up double minions, like both farming lane and the top lane. All of those minions are feed into Muzi's mouth and trying to let him to have extra gold and trying to let him to be really dominant in the mid lane game.
Blue team has
And also
destroyed a
Tai Jun
turret.
is always gonna be there. The duo just stay tight. Muzi and Hui, right? Good partner. And Tai's passive can help Muzi even more extra gold. So actually they're trying to like snowball the gold. Snowball the gold directly on Muzi with Garrow more. Just do those like single core playing style. Treat Muzi just like a princess. And for Scars, actually they slow down a little bit. It seems like after they take down that Miyamoto Musashi, they know that they have more time to farm up, but the problem is the farming pace is not that equalized. I mean, like comparing both marksmen, because Alexio, the only way that he can scaling up his gold is trying to eat some of those resources in his field and also those minions. But let's see Muzi. Muzi is not only trying to clear up all of those mutual objectives, and at the same time, Tai is always gonna be stay close with his Muzi, utilizing his passive, try to let Muzi to have extra gold. So I mean, 100% the gold difference can already be seen from both marksmen. It won't be balanced, right? Muzi definitely gonna win the upper hand. So, I mean, the problem is, here's a question, right? Here's a question. Like, if the marksmen are not sharing the same farming pace, that also means in the mid lane game, which definitely will happen a lot of like big team fights or engagements, Alexio's output damage won't be that enough than Garrow. And also, not even mentioned to Garrow will have extra life provided by his sports ulti. Nice cage! Wow! It seems like ASD just been overstepped a little bit because he trying to like hide his vision in that bush and trying to use his ulti to clean up all the minions. But the problem is the initiation just being really tight from the other side. And now they're trying to push it forward. Everyone just play around this Muzi and Scars without judging. There's no more ability that can be seen will be capable to deal with all of these minions. That's a problem. Judging would be the only hero that we can see from Scar's side have the capacity to clean up all those minion waves. So it's gonna be a big trauma for Scars after they lose the mid tower, the tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Because somehow that also means actually Nova Esports can go deeper and deeper and gain more vision control at the same time. They can have 100% confidence to do something on this Dark Tyrant, and Dark Tyrant again will offer them extra damage.
Has destroyed a turret.
Scars actually should play in a more aggressive way. I mean, especially like before 6 minutes, right? We only saw that kind of scene once, that they sent 2 people in unit and tried to do some nice gank on that Miyamoto Musashi. But the problem is actually no one is aiming at Muzi. So Muzi haven't died yet, right? Haven't died yet for even once. But Muzi would definitely be the core player from Nova Esports, because we mentioned about the execution from this comp that Nova is having now from the drop would be play around Muzi and pushing forward. It's just gonna be that easy. And we can see Nova Esports is thoroughly trying to execute in that way. Everyone is just trying to protect Muzi, did a lot of pre-stack, for example, to gaining all of the vision to make sure that no one's actually just gonna gank in on Muzi, just like this one. Like Air, he's just checking all of those bushes. So actually Yao and Bone was trying to be sneaky, right? To sneak out into the rear and try to do some nice gank on Mutsi. Because if it's not Yao, there's no hero from Scar's side can get access to Mutsi right now. So everything is just being gently controlled by Nova. And the pace is just, you know, gradually be turned to Nova.
Overlord has been defeated.
We didn't have those kind of awareness that how big the goal difference is right now. It's up to 6,000. 6,000 gold lead matters a lot, everyone. 6,000 gold lead already show that Mutsi will have one item than more than our ultimate. At least one item. And Mutsi is always carrying double barrage. So the next few minutes, everything is going to be really easy for Nova Esports if they play safe. They can just break Ishin's ulti, try to block all those people away, and let Miyamoto Musashi to keep eyes on Yao. And everyone just trying to place surrounding the Scarab. Oh, we can see nice initiation because they know that Yao is just gonna be there. And they're directly aiming at Garo, but Garo got extra life provided by Tai Jun. Scars paid so much effort to taking down this Mutsi, take this Garo down, but at least they win against Nova Esports from this team fight. But they need to retreat a little bit. Here comes Autumn again, flash across the wall and got him the double claw. They aced Nova Esports. What a nice counter attack! Like Scars, they fall behind a little bit, they fall behind a lot, but they never stop trying to find out even minor chances to turn this page around. We can see the like from the replay later that Anton, like his L was trying to be sneaky, and again he trying to play at the rear and trying to complete the combo provided by Lambert. And that nice combo, they just take that Mutsi down twice. Because like the first burst out damage was directly taking out Mutsi, but Mutsi came back to life again due to Hui's ulti, Taijun's ulti, right? And again, and Bond, we really need to put this player on the spotlight because Yao like came back to the battlefield twice and take that Mutsi down twice. He would definitely be the hero for Scars in this game. Because again, he is the only hero that can approach Garo, especially in the late game. Well, actually from the team fight, we can see Scars, they gain something back up more. At least we can see the gold difference has been minimized into 1,000. And now, the only problem for Scars to dealing with is about their minions, the CPU minions, because from the last team fights, they put all of those efforts in to take that Mutsi down, so actually they gave up to manage their waves, and that just offered Nova Esports to have the chances to take out both high ground towers on side lane. So it's really hard to say who actually win the upper hand, who eventually like win the upper hand from the last team fight, because for Nova Esports they already achieved what they want. The reason why they're trying to reinforce, they're trying to assemble and attacking on that high ground tower is because they try to take down all of those side lane high ground towers to make sure that they definitely have the winning lanes at the late game. Again, we can see Yai being really sneaky, but everyone's trying to find him out. They won't let them to have the second choice, and Mutsi flash out finding out a really nice position, so it's gonna be the time for Scars to pay for the price. As this flash has been forced out, we can see like the very first second when this Lambert tried to flash in and knock this Mootsie out, everyone from Nova's side do have those kind of awareness, so they just take one step back and let Mootsie to flash out of those dangerous surroundings. And once Mootsie haven't been taken down by all of those CC and combined with burst damage, it's gonna be Nova's time to fight back. You know, a lot of back and forths can be seen from the team fights again and again. It's mainly because both teams have a strong CC chain, right? Both teams have strong CC chain and both teams' marksmen have been fully scaled up. So that's a problem. Every single detail matters a lot. Nova Esports taking out this Shadow Overlord. Again, the Shadow Overlord will let them to have strong Vanguard spawning on all 3 lanes, and not even mentioned to Nova Esports already take the advantage for 2 high ground towers. They've got superhuman waves, they've got Vanguards, they've got that Dark Card, right? So it's gonna be the matter of time for Nova Esports. But they still need to play safe. They still need to keep their eyes on Yao again and again to make sure that Yao would have 0% of chance to get access to Mootsie. Nice combo and force out the mobility. Lambert would be the first one to be taken down, and let's see Yao and also Xiangyi try to play the same trick, but this time Nova Esports want led guards to achieve what they want. And we can see the Sage's Sanctuary has been triggered, but Nova Esports, their marksman Mootsie, the hero, stand to the last. Stand till the last minute, and they ace guard. It's gonna be the end for guards. Nova Esports, they want last guards to have any chance to fight back, and this gonna be the second victory goes over to Nova Esports. What a nice play. I would say Nova Esports right now, they are just being really sophisticated about what they got. I mean, when they're playing that tanky jungler plus another warrior, for example, Kaiser with this Guan Yu, they definitely would prioritize their top laners a lot. But once they change into those typical double core playing style, for example, this one Miyamoto Musashi with this Garo, the synergy between all of those members just being really tight. They know that on what exact moment will be the time for them to take the right action, right? It seems like they have a really clear like timeline in their own mind. And also, like, once they take out this Garo, and now Garo has still like 100% winning rate. They take out Garo 4 times and they win against their enemies 4 times, because they know that once they take this Garo out, the only thing that they need to do is try to protect their marksman, nothing else. Because Mootsie's own mechanics, while secure his early game, it's really hard for you to take Mootsie down before 6 or 8 minutes, because he's always gonna utilize his own mechanics to make sure that he's always gonna be safe and comfortable. And also because we know that before 4 minutes there's protection provided by those towers, by the fuse. So it's really hard for you to do this tower dive to break his farming pace. And once it goes to like mid game or late game, Mootsie already being fully farmed up. We can see like the gold lead, right? The gold lead, actually Mootsie has a really nice gold lead. And that's a way about how Nova Esports always gonna win. And right now, they actually got 4 wins in a row. Wow, 4 wins in a row. So definitely they're gonna secure their first place in the current ranking. And also, we know that actually in this round, we're doing a single round robin. So each team will only play against other teams once. And since we only got 6 teams in one group, so each team will play 5 matchups. And for Nova Esports and also Scars, good news is that both teams still got one game lost. They still got one game left. For Nova Esports, they're gonna play against RTZ the day after tomorrow. And for Scars, they're gonna play back to back. They're gonna have one game left, play against Impunity tomorrow. And that's gonna be the last chance for Scars to secure their place to be at the second one. This time, our MVP goes to Yan this Ishin. Well, we mentioned about how important Garo was, but basically Garo was the output killing machine. But for Yan, this Ishin, we can see like the way how he's using his ulti and also the way that how he's trying to break his second ability and try to initiate would be quite crucial in this game. For example, in the early game we mentioned about Lambert would be the only one that can provide initiation and also vision control from Scar's side, and it was because of Yan's rotation from the mid lane to the bottom and just hiding his vision, trying to use his second ability and drag that Lambert in. This one exactly was on what I'm talking about, and combined with that CC control help them to just open a window for Nova Esports. And also like every big team fight, Ishin would always be there, and also like his second ability and his I would say he always, and here's the detail, right? The way that this player is trying to play with this Ishin is every single time when he find out he successfully get controlled on some people by using his second ability, he will instantly break his ulti, right? Try to complete a CC by himself and try to, I would say, like buy more time for his ally to come up with him. And it's not only the way when he's playing with this Ishin, but also just recheck game one when he was playing this higher, he actually do the same playing style. So like the I would say the position in Nova is more like they try to protect their jungler and also they try to protect their marksman. At the same time, they try to let the mid laner to play those utility mage. Try to give up all of those minions, give up all of those ghosts. But they just trying to let the mid laner to initiate more, to take the responsibility to be maybe the shot caller, right? To cage in a lot of people and try to complete a CC by himself when he's using Ishin, or use that higher and buy more time for his like killing machine Mutsi or Air to come up and just complete the kill. It's quite easy. Well, when we analyze it, it sounds quite easy, but if you really need to execute it, it requires really tight synergy and also coordination. So really nice job done by Nova Esports. And also I do want to compromise Scars a little bit, because we know that Scars is always considered as those conventional team, right? They always want to play safe. They never use those unique heroes, but this time when they play against Nova Esports, actually they carry out that Mozi would be quite a unique hero. So I'm wondering what kind of interview that both team, those players from both team will offer to us to give us some information and let us to know more about them. So here's gonna be the interview. Let's take a look.
第一局你的海月发挥的很好，这个英雄是你在训练中很常用的英雄吗？有没有什么自己的小技巧呢？ So you played very well in the first game with 海月. Did you use this hero a lot in the training, and do you have any tips of playing this hero?
经常会用到吧。然后技巧的话，就是前面等到发育，然后看情况去边路抓这种打野或者单带边去拉人吧。可以去边路抓人。
Okay.
就是团战中可以自己就看情况盯人什么的。
Okay, so this competitor says that he used Haiyu a lot in the training, and he thinks that when you play Haiyu, you can seize every chance to gank, and to gank the jungle and top, and when in the engage, you can seize the chance to use the third skill to help the engage be more smooth. Okay. 然后第二个问题是，Nova 到现在为止一场都没有输过，你们有没有信心能够一直赢到决赛，再次获得奖杯吗？So Nova hasn't lost a single game so far. So are you confident that you can win until the final and win the grand final again?
挺有信心的，剑士冠军吧。
Okay, so this competitor says that he is very confident that Nova can win until the last game and be the champion again.
I really like the way when he's answering the last question, because actually that's a really sharp question, because we're still at the first round in regular season, but since like Nova Esports already got like 4 wins in a row, so we asked them that do they have the confidence to have several wins in a row till the end. I mean, till the end, we still got like like promotion and relegation. We still got like the round 2 in regular season, like playoffs, blah blah. But still, like he seems to be a little bit shy, and do not want to overcommit a little bit. But still, he said, okay, yeah, we are quite confident with that. Like, wish you luck, and I know that Nova Esports definitely will have the dominance right now. But still, they really need to prepare more about their composition, and really looking forward to their future play. And that's gonna be the end for our first matchup for today. And next matchup, well, coming up soon, that's gonna be KG play against RTZ. We're gonna go through a short break, and we will be back. RTZ, they can just easily play around this Garrow, try to take more towers, but here comes Eugene.
确认击败，行动方案万无一失。喂，给挡住了，对面的身手。
Double kill.
千锤百炼，这就是老炮。让你过瘾。
需要帮忙吗？
damage.
Triple kill, Huang Zhong. That
战神
除了横扫千军，老头还能做什么呢？干爆了！
英雄登场，填充完毕，火力全开，完美操作。准备好了吗？来点火爆的！伤口可不是什么值得炫耀的事情。
From Tempest Dragon, it's quite difficult for RPG to guard their pistol, and then they are trying to force it down from KG, and then KG with the super minions down the track. Well, luckily they cleaned it out. However, with Outer, that's not enough. And with the Tempest Dragon from the mid lane, we can actually
空尺寿司忍び待ち夢桜知らぬ義務格奥義
方寸棋盘便是我的天地，一死定乾坤。
我对，还想跑，跑得掉吗？
收官，逃离不可相让。
他们完蛋了。
飞星。
Welcome back. This is Honor of Kings Asian Week Event Season 2, and today's caster Nora. We just finished up our first matchup. That's going to be Nova Esports 2-0 win against Guards. That also means actually Nova Esports right now will have 4 wins in a row. Definitely will secure their first place in our current ranking. And the next matchup will happen between RTZ play against KG. You know, like this game, I would highlight this game from the whole match day because like RTZ and KG are at the 5th place and also the 6th place. That also means if one of those teams they lost the game, probably they're gonna go into our promotion and relegation. So it's gonna be a really severe situation for both teams. And actually, like for today's matchup, there's a like small video that we prepared for you guys. Make sure that you guys can know more about these teams, and let's take a look.
很荣幸的请到我们非常重量级的一个人物来到我们这个访谈当中。那欣安就
we can see actually, you know, the thing that they're actually saying is that they're making their small programs, you know, like it's like they're making their own programs and try to share more about their like daily information or like those interesting facts that they're happening from their daily trainings or something like that. We can see they seem to be really chilled, you know. They seem to be really chilled, and I'm really glad to see these kind of things happening because it seems like they really enjoyed our games. All right, so at this time actually we can see more about their lineups, and here's the thing, both for RTZ and also Killer Gaming, actually their lineups remain the same. They never make any rotation. And here's something, I'm wondering, Bane from RTZ, the posture that he's doing right now is kind of like, is he imitating tiger or imitating lion? I don't know. Maybe we should like put that into our interview, right? I highly recommend, like once if we got a chance to interview Bing from RTZ, we can ask him why he did that kind of posture when he's trying to take the profile picture. All right, and here's the lineup for KG. Again, like both for KG or RTZ, their lineup always stayed the same, so we're quite familiar with all those players again. And also KG actually like for the comp, they used variety of heroes, right? Their mid laner is actually Piku, is a great assassin mage, and also at the same time he's really good at playing utility mage. So like the variety of his hero pool will offer KG more options when they trying to do a lot of ganks. And the same way as RTZ is doing right now, because it's really rare to see both mid laner are good at playing assassin mage, because Piku is known of playing Mage Lenui, and for being like the one that doing that tiger posture, he's really good at playing Shangguan Wanger. So I'm wondering, both mage, will they take out the same way about playing more aggressively in this game, or they're just gonna go into that classic utility mage playing style? Alright, here's the team data comparison, and we can see the average kill per match. Actually, Killer Gaming, the statistics won't be that well, I would say, because 5.4 were considered as a quite low number if we are mentioning to average kill per match. That basically means that one way, if they are trying to operate the game and they try to doing this pushing strategy, avoiding all of this engagement, or in the other way, it could say that Killer Gaming would always be the one that to be killed by other teams. So it can go either ways. And combined with the average damage per kill, or and combined with the damage per minute, I would say it's probably go to the second way. On the other side, we can see RTZ. RTZ is always playing fierce. I don't know why, I don't know why. From season one, RTZ is always playing in quite a furious way. They're always trying to, initiate a lot, especially they really dedicated into mid-game team fighting. I still remember when in season 1 they're quite good with those dacha strategy, and also like in this time they always trying to use a lot of initiation, trying to lead the gaming pace. So let's see if RTZ just gonna stick to their own strategy again for today, or they're just gonna play in a more like introvert way. Game 1, then pick phase. Again, I really want to highlight the importance for both teams, because we know that the 5th and 6th team in Group A will go to play against the top 2 teams from Group B in our promotion and relegation. And due to the current ranking, RTZ right now have 0 wins, 1 draw and 2 loss. Only got 1 point in their hand, so they're currently at the 5th place. And for KG, still they got 0 wins, 1 draw but 3 loss. Only 1 point in their hand, but the difference is that it's gonna be the last game for Killer Gaming. So let's put it in this way: if Killer Gaming lost their game against RTZ, they will definitely be involved into our promotion and relegation, to facing that kind of dangerous position, because we know that BSE or MAH or Fano from Group B are quite strong. They're not like the one that we thought. For example, like MH or Fano, they're not 2 teams that we thought would be like not that good compared to their performance in game 1. Not even mentioned to BSE in Group 2. In Group 2, already got 3 wins in a row, so they're quite scary opponents, I would say. No team from Group A trying to play against BSE. I'm sure, 100% sure. So for RTZ, good news to them is that they still got a second chance, since they got 1 game left once they finish this one play against Killer Gaming. But it go either side, because the last matchup they're gonna play is to play against Nova Esports, the one that got 4 wins in a row just right now. So both teams really needs to gain for that precious points, because this game due to their current ranking, will have the highest possibility for them to make it at least to a draw, but better to be as a 2-0 win. Draft team matters a lot. RTZ just trying to play safe, and it's not only for them to play safe, but also to highlight more about their mid-game playing style, their mid-game initiation. Sunbin with the Shahodun will provide them to be more substantial when they try to engage in the mid-game. And also Zhao Jun will let them to have a really nice initiation from her second ability, and also his ulti will allow them to at least clean up all those minions and buy more time for themselves. And for KG, also they try to play safe. KAW definitely will play well in the late game, and also KAW would be one of those great marksmen to kiting a lot of tanks because of the little mobility that KAW has. The extra movement speed that KAW has will allow him to be really flexible in the late game. And also Alta, maybe Alta will be a flex pick because Alta can both play at the confront lineup and also be the jungler. It depends. Well, it seems like KG tried to let Alta play as a jungler and let Charlotte to play as a warrior on the top. Well, Gongsun Li be a really nice choice. I hold my own question towards this choice because actually when KAW is playing against Gongsun Li alone at the farming lane, KAW will win the upper hand. Because we know that Gongsun Li, though he's gonna be really mobile and have quite a high ceiling when he's trying to showcase with his own mechanics, but the problem is he's just being really squishy. Gongsun Li is just being really squishy, and none of his ability can require this hero enough HP recovery, so it's gonna be a problem when they're trying to do the lanings. And that's the main reason why Killer Gaming, for their last choice, they take out the Cyan, because Cyan's ability just allow KAW to play more aggressively, because they have the confidence to do a lot of HP trade, and they know that once Gongsun Li has facing a lot of pressure and they just lock Gongsun Li down at the farming lane, they can just let Killer Gaming to highlight more about the upper side of the map and try to make a lot of things happen on the top side of the map. Wow, something interesting is happening right now. It seems like they try to let Charlotte to play the jungler, or they are trying to let Alta play as the jungler, but they try to let Alta to play, to let the top laner to play as the jungler. We know that Tyke is really good at playing this Alta, but the problem is they use this Alta 4 times, but none of this could win. But this time, again, it seems like the power between two teams, like the skill level would be quite similar, so it's really hard to say who's gonna be the final winner. At least we know that both teams really need to take this game serious, because you can't just play it around with this game, because every single point matters a lot for both teams. One team who ever win against the other with a 2-0 will at least make sure that they got another chance to gain it for a higher ranking, to get avoid of playing in that promotion and relegation. It's not that easy for you to only just be like degenerating into Group B, but also if you're in Group B in our second round in regular season, the only way to secure your place into the playoffs will be vying for the top 2. On the other side, all of those teams from Group A in round 2 in our regular season will have their tickets going straight into the playoffs. So that's the impact we'll have from the single matchup. Let's wait and see. RTZ on the blue side, KAW Gaming on the red side. I'm today's Costa Nora. Let's take a look. It will just, you know, it do have the impact on the tickets into the playoffs. So it's gonna be a serious game. You know, for Charlotte this hero, it's really hard for you to do the solos against Alien in the early game. Because like the cooldown is not enough, but for Alien can just, you know, using his versatility and passive to gain more armor defense or immunity or HP recovery, a lot of things. But for Charlotte, it's only that we can see like from the result, Charlotte's flash has been forced out. It will even make Charlotte to be more painful during the laning. And from the mini map, you can see RTZ definitely know that it's not gonna be a good thing for Son only just being locked down at the farming lane. He's just gonna facing a really great pressure. Because KAW Gaming is pressure a lot on the farming lane. Let Kaya, let Otta, let Ishin constantly rotate to the farming lane. Keep pressuring on this Gongsun Li. They know that once they lock that Gongsun Li down, it's really hard for RTZ to make things happen. And that's a great thing for you to carry out Taiyan. Taiyan would be one of those most powerful support for you when you're doing the laning. I mean only when you're doing the laning, because it's gonna offer you extra HP recovery, and HP recovery matters a lot for all of those marksmen. You will have the confidence, right? You will have your own hospital. Whenever you're ill, whenever you need blood, you just, you know, easily call for the number. If everything just go into quite a peaceful way, I would say that the 4 minutes mark well matters a lot, because at the 4 minutes mark, both Tyrant and also Overlord will spawn, and definitely both teams were gonna vie for that neutral objectives. Help them to, you know, build up more gold a little bit. KAW Gaming, we can see like the rotation, right? Again, they try to pressure more on RTZ's farming lane. That's the execution that we mentioned about, right? From the drafting, we know that the reason why first they carry out this tie-in is basically because they try to lock down Gongsun Li. They do not want Gongsun Li to win himself a winning lane against KAW. At the same time, we can see the rotation that KAW Gaming did from the first minute to right now 4 minutes. Is constantly trying to bulk up their farming lane, and as now we are actually at the 4 minutes mark, it's gonna be the great part, the great time for KAW Gaming to take out the outer tower. And we can see like after 4 minutes, the protection of the tower will disappear. So it will make the tier tower to be such an easy target for KAW Gaming. But that also gonna be a good news for for RTZ, I would say, because we know that Gongsun Li, the least thing that this marksman want is trying to play the solos, right? The least thing that this hero want is trying to do those 1v1 or 2v2 at the bottom lane, at the single lane. He really needs to flex himself a little bit, trying to, you know, play freely. The minutes that the Gongsun Li trying to play freely will be the time for RTZ try to see some moment, try to see some chances and try to make something happen. And once they really gain themselves something, it's gonna be an easy thing for RTZ to snowball the game. Because if we see the comp that RTZ have, we'll say they got Alien on the top. Definitely Alien already win the upper hand against Charlotte. And also Alien need time to farm up and will make him to be the strongest weapon in the late game to take the responsibility that Gongsun Li would have in the late game, but need time. However, Alien would be one of those great heroes to do the spell push, right? To do the spell push. So if RTZ makes something happen by free that Gongsun Li, they can win the upper hand by doing a lot of small skirmishes. I mean, not those big 5 versus 5 team fight. Instead, they will have a stronger power when they're trying to do those 2v2 or 3 versus 3 in those open lanes or in those complicated fields. So it's up to RTZ. It's gonna be a double-edged sword for Killer Gaming to take out that tier 1 tower at the farming league. And now we can see the match has been paused due to a network connection issue. On-site troubleshooting is in progress, so please stay tuned for more updates. Thank you guys for your patience, and I'm sure that we are gonna be back into our game soon. Again, we can see though we are actually at the 4 minutes mark, but there's no kills happening, right? There's no kills happening. Both teams try to play in quite a safe way, because we know that definitely both teams, they have that kind of awareness about how important this one single small matchup will be. We are doing single round robin. Every single team will only play 5 games, 5 matchups, and we're doing best of 2. So that's the thing. If RTZ lost a game, they're gonna have 0 wins, because, you know, I mean, technically it's really hard for them to win against Nova Esports the day after tomorrow. I mean, like, fairly speaking, but still we are holding our like expectations about something would happen, because that's a charm. When we're doing esports, you would never be so sure about the results, because everything could happen. But I mean, like, due to the level skill, like, fairly speaking, it's really hard for RTZ to win against Nova currently. And for Killer Gaming, this is gonna be their last game to play against RTZ. After they finished up the matchup today, they're gonna finish up all of those 5 matchups, so their number is gonna be fixed. Their score is going to be fixed. So the only way that they're gonna have a better chance to going into the playoff will be win in that promotion and relegation when he's facing those top 2 teams from Group B. So that's maybe the main reason that why both teams are trying to play in quite a safe way. All of those players is just trying to testifying the limit, testifying the momentum. Everyone just trying to play safe. 4 minutes mark that we mentioned about. KG tried to rotate down again. Pressure is on Son Alien break his ulti, but this time he break his ulti, try to escape. Once Charlotte level up more, it will let Charlotte to have much more cooldown, and also will let Charlotte to have more armor defense. It all depends on his level. And I would say it's gonna be the time for RTZ to do something. Because actually in this 1 or 2 minutes, TL Gaming didn't really see the chance. Because they could just constantly pressure on this Gongsun Li and taking out that first tower. But the problem is they choose to back up. They choose to like step off, right? They try to step back, and then they just give up the vision over to RTZ, which is quite confusing. Well, the reason is actually Cyan is one of the heroes that can do quite well to offer HP recovery, but he's really squishy. This little girl is really squishy, so it's kind of hard for KG to gain the vision control. The only way that they can gain the vision is trying to initiate, just like this one. Just like this one, exactly. The only way that they want to gain the vision is to fight. They need to vie for it. But you can see Alien, the hero that we're mentioning about, is just trying to, you know, he's even trying to clean up the medium waves after they arriving at the lanes. Or before they arriving at the lanes. Sorry. And now RTZ try to set a unit and try to initiate something with numbers advantage. They knock off this Arta, but Arta secure his blue bar, so no further action can be seen. KAW just directly rotate to the top and try to, you know, have more goals and try to run up. If KAW Gaming plays in this way, I would say RTZ will be more aggressive right now from now on. Because first thing first, Gongsun Li is totally free right now, right? He's not just being locked down at the farming lane, and that it's really hard for you to just directly catch this Gongsun Li since he's full with mobility. And also Sunbin's second ability will help Gongsun Li to have a higher efficiency, quicker speed to get on lanes and get into those engagements. And at the same time, Alien already got several decent items. Well, let him to be quite dominant during the engagement, so RTZ could play more aggressively from now on. Just, you know, leveraging the power that those heroes have. Alien's power and also Gongsun Li's power, just trying to leverage them a little bit. And also Sunbi's second ability will be the key factor from RTZ side. Because Sunbi's second ability is really functional, right? It not only provide HP recovery, but also will let them to have higher efficiency to rotate from one side to another. And that's the reason why we can see RTZ always have the priority to rotate first, always, I mean all the time. And now Xiaohodun tried to lock in someone, but he missed the target, so it's gonna be the time for him to retreat. They already sent all those vanguards into the tier 2 tower, so they can take out the tier 2 tower on side lanes. The million tower is only gonna be the matter of fact, matter of time. And actually RTZ can constantly keep pressing on the mid lane. The reason is because They got Shahoden, they got the Shaojin's ultimate, but for Killer Gaming, Ishin wouldn't be one of the zero can guard his melee tower. Here Alliance comes in, try to lock in at Alta. Alta tried to use his might and secured his red buff and they force out Alliance flash. It's gonna be such a nice trade for Killer Gaming. They paid nothing but for Alliance flash and Alliance active item. And also at the same time, they secured their red buff. So far so good for Killer Gaming. What about this Tyrant? Dark Tyrant is also going to be taken by Take, but Take is going to fight with his life. Sun just take down. It seems like I'm doing tongue twister. Anyway, I mean, it seems like Tate has quite a good awareness about how he's gonna use his might, right? He got a really nice control upon all of those HP bars. But for RTZ, once they take Alta down, there's no tank that we can see from Killer Game's side. No tank, no vision, no protection. So RTZ can utilize this time, utilize the absence of this Alta to take down all of those Alta towers. So I would say eventually RTZ earned more than Killer Gaming. RTZ, another big team fight here. Alliance came in. First, he's aiming at this Ishin. Ishin has been taken away and now activate his first ability. Try to aim at this Charlotte, but Charlotte should trigger his passive. But there's no way for them to protect that KAW. I didn't expect that Charlotte would play in quite an aggressive way. He just flashed in and tried to sacrifice himself, but he needs to take the Alliance down. But the problem is KG needs to pay their high ground tower as a price, and there's only Taiyan herself alone trying to guard their base. It's gonna be really hard for Killer Gaming. I mean, how I'm gonna say this because Killer Gaming, it seems like they always trying to equalize the cost, but the problem is technically they always lost a lot of things. For example, they trade that Dark Tyrant with all of those outer tower, including the mid lane tower. And for the engagement that we see, they trade Alien. They trade Alien for the high ground tower on the side lane. I mean, it's really nice that for Killer Gaming to have that kind of sensation about doing trades. But doing trades also means that you need to pay with a reasonable price. Not that okay, I'm gonna buy this knife, but I'm gonna offer you maybe $100, right? It's not reasonable. It's not reasonable. It's like over. It's like too expensive.
Blue team has destroyed a turret.
And now RTZ is kind of operating the game. They're not really rushing to the game. They manage their waves, and now they're sending the vanguards into the high ground tower. It's gonna be the matter of time because the biggest vanguards are now gradually get access to the red side base, and it's gonna be the time for RTZ to initiate for their last team fight. Here comes Alien, comes in, try to aim in at that marksman, but KAW just escaped away and didn't take down that Ishin, but due to the sun, it's still a live double quad goes over to Gongsun Lee, and even more is that he takes down that crystal. Congratulations to RTZ for game 1. For RTZ, it's more like after Gongsun Lee was freed from the laning, everything just went really optimistic for them and went really smooth for them. I mean, we mentioned about like the crucial part, the crucial role that Gongsun Lee is playing right now in their comp. you can't just like constantly facing such a severe pressure during the lanings. It's gonna be much more shrewd for you to just let constantly out, and do a lot of small skirmishes. And we also need to highlight the top laner, because Alien, right? Alien using his own mechanics and help them to building up a winning lane against Charlotte. At the same time, he tried to do a lot of power dive. He tried to, directly just cause threat on the back laners from KG and just forcing them back again and again. Help RTZ to gain the priority to play proactively. It's all about Alien, so we do need to highlight Alien a little bit. And it's more like, to me, to be honest, it's more like Killer Gaming is just handing all of those opportunities over to RTZ. I mean, especially we can see at 4 minutes mark, everything just went so well before 4 minutes mark. The strategy was quite clear, like the execution was quite smooth from Killer Gaming. Everyone just constantly keep pressing on Song, keep pressing on this constantly. But the problem is, at the very, very important critical 4 minutes, KG suddenly just changed their attitude. It seems like the pivot just goes in quite a, I would say, I don't know, like interesting way, because most of the team, they would have those awareness about, okay, now it's gonna be 4 minutes mark. Okay, now it's gonna be 10 minutes mark. Everyone just, buck up a little bit and pay attention to what's happening right now on the battlefield. But when it goes to KG, it's just like, okay, it doesn't be 4 minutes. Everyone, just come on, just be more like dedicated into all of our executions. But suddenly, there's gonna be a pivot on those crucial moments. Suddenly, they just kind of lose, just lower their guard and hand over all of these opportunities to their opponents. Anyway, this time MVP goes to RTZ's top laner, Shen. We mentioned about this Alien, right? We mentioned about the role that this Alien's playing right now. The KDA was quite decent, and also Alien is always caused a huge threat on all of those back laners from KG side. For example, like this one, right? Second ability, get access to KAW and break his LT. Try to get away of a lot of control abilities. And then I would say Charlotte did a really decent trade, but the problem is Killer Gaming lost more. They always, pay big efforts but trades for small things. They paid big efforts to taking down that Dark Tyrants, but they paid the mid lane tower and all of those outer towers in price. And from the last team fight, we can see they paid a lot of efforts to take that Alien down, but the problem is they lost control about all of those Tiger towers. So it's really hard to say, did they really achieve the trade or not, because they didn't equalize it. So if you really want to do the trade, especially in the game, it's more like how you're gonna pay small efforts but to maximize your advantage and try to gain a lot of things back. That's how we're gonna define trade. So still, it seems like there's a long way for Killer Gaming to go to have a deeper understanding towards the patch or like those details in the game. But still, they got their chances to tie it up, right? They still got their chance to make it to a draw. At least they're gonna have one more point, and it will. Even worse is that they're gonna just pull RTZ into a more dangerous position. So for RTZ side, I bet they won't let this thing happen. They definitely want to have a clean 2-0 win, help them to get another 3 points. The more the better. Game 2. Change side. Killer Gaming on the blue side, RTZ on the red. The draft matters a lot again, but the problem, but the thing is, you know, when we were casting the matchup between Scars and Nova, we mentioned about how similar the comp was. They always just stick to plan A, stick to plan B, and that's it. It's basically because they have 100% full confidence with what they're playing right now. They have a really sophisticated and a mature system about how they're gonna execute their comp, so they can just, you know, utilize the same comp, win again and again, because we're doing best of 2, right? It didn't require a lot about your hero pool. But for Killer Gaming and RTZ, due to their previous matchup, you can see so many different heroes that they've used in the previous matchups. They've used even some of those unique ones, you know. We can put this into 2 ways. One good thing would be they have quite a deep hero pool, and it will help them to go further if they make it to the playoffs. But on the other side, that also means none of those comp has been used quite good. They really relies a lot on the draft to make sure that they can have a higher winning rate when they take out such comp, right? They try to do a lot of things on the draft, but in the game, when they dive right into the game, they would highlight more on their own mechanics. For example, do the lanings or the way that how they're gonna seize all of those chances to make a lot of things happen, rather than to, you know, pay more attention to how they're gonna communicate their comp, how they're gonna polish their execution. Killer Gaming, the first 3 choices: Zhao Haijun, Zhang Fei, and Gongsun Li. Gongsun Li again has been taken out. You always can trust the hero, right? All of those abilities will let this hero to find a way out. Use those power source. And Zhao Haijun would be a really nice jungler in this patch, because Zhao Haijun is not like other tanky junglers. Like when we mention about tank junglers, we're always gonna have those image about like Xiaohodun or Ata, right? But both Xiaohodun or Ata is relying on their own HPs. They need to be fully decked out. They need to pile up their items to help them to have more HPs to be more tankier. But as we're trying to analyze Zhao Haijun, it's just going into completely different ways. Because for Zhao Haijun, it's more about his strategic tankiness. I mean, his ulti can let this hero to soak in so many damage and let him to be immune to a lot of control abilities. And that's the reason why I made this hero to be really tanky and to be the frontliner. And also the first ability will let this team to have great initiation. RTZ, it seems like RTZ tried to build up a really well-rounded comp. First, there's Tai with Lady Sun's comp, the duel. It would be quite classic. We've seen this several times, right? Sun Shangsheng gonna cause burst damage in the late game, and Tai Zheng will accelerate his farming pace by providing extra gold from Tai's passive, and also Tai's ulti will let his ally to have extra chances, extra lives during the mid game team fight. and also Limpo, and also the Yixing will let RTZ to have quite beautiful initiation if they complete the CC well. Like the big team fight will be in favor of RTZ since they got so many like crowd control abilities. And they take out this Miyamoto Musashi to make sure that there's always going to be one people keep his eyes on Gongsun Li, right? And also his ulti, Miyamoto Musashi's ultimate can directly aim it at Gongsun Li no matter what kind of abilities that Gongsun Li is using right now, no matter where Gongsun Li is trying to go. So RTZ just formed up quite a well-rounded comp. The only problem is that it takes time, right? They won't have enough power in the early game. At least they need to wait after 8 minutes, 6 or 8 minutes, that they have the ability to try to fight. And also, it's gonna be a really nice comp to do counter attack instead of doing initiation in the mid game, because the burst damage won't be enough. But if it goes to the late game, they can initiate a lot and complete a lot of small CC, because Sun Shanshan's burst damage will combo up instantly. On the other side, we can see like from Killer Gaming's strategy, they set an alarm for themselves. The time's ticking. They really need to gain a lot of things from the very first minute. So let's see how Killer Game is gonna deal with this kind of comp and how they're gonna be really proactive and make a lot of things happen. It's gonna be game 2, KAW Gaming play against RTZ, and again this game will decide who's gonna be the last team in Group A and who's gonna play in the promotion and relegation to face that kind of uncertainty. The opening set went very well for Killer Game. We mentioned about the power that they got in the early game. Zhou's damage will help them to have more like damaged out, have the priority to clean up the minions. So that's the reason why they can go a little bit further and to steal away that camp. The bottom lane, we can see after Zhou gain the priority to rotate first, he tried to rotate down and try to help Gongsun Li to, do some HP trade. But we can see RTZ is playing in another way. They know that, alright, Zhou definitely will have the priority to rotate first. So what about we just set a trap for him? Because if you want to let Zhang Fei down to play as a duo, play protective in a protective way, Zhou is always gonna be alone. So that's that nice trick that RTZ played, just kinda interrupt Killer Gaming's early game pace. And right now, Zhou, due to his lack of vision control, it's really hard for him to directly rotate down, to take the shortcut. It's really hard to see a lot of things can be happen before 4 minutes. 4 minutes mark will be the critical mark, because for Killer Gaming, after 4 minutes they can just let Zhou to give up one of those minions and just help Gongsun Li to push forward, to marching forward. The thing that Killer Gamer will do is trying to rotate Zhou down right at 4 minutes mark and try to preset a lot of fireballs and do a lot of poking damage. And then help Gongsun Li to take it out Tier 1 tower and let this Gongsun Li to be free. And now we can see that's exactly what's happening right now at the mini map. Joey rotate down, preset some fireballs, try to do some poking damage, but here's the thing, he didn't maximize his fireballs, so it's only got like 2 rose bushes, right? There's only 2 rose bushes, that's not enough. But now it's gonna be 4 minutes mark and Joey just give up the middle tower, just like what we said, and try to preset some fireballs. But RTZ is playing extremely cautiously. I mean, Ladison never step out of his tower for even once. They never do want to do any like HP trade or something like that. They just trying to play safe, and that's it. Because they know that KAW Gaming is gonna be the one to be really worried about what's happening right now. Zhangfei's ulti has been forced out. It's kind of a waste of ulti, but without this ultimate, Zhangfei probably will be taken down by Lady Sun, because he has been overstepped a little bit to be like really deeper. I would say KAW Gaming definitely gonna be the one to be a little bit anxious right now, because they know that the clock's ticking. Time's counting down. Once they let this 水上香 to form up, it will be really hard for them to take this Ladison down. The early game will be the best chance to interrupt Ladison's farming pace, and at the same time help themselves to, you know, leverage those small advantages more and try to control the game. They try really hard. Constantly even break his frenzy for this round. But the problem is Yixing come to help and cage in this Zhangfei and just stop them to, you know, take further actions. KG is totally stuck. They're now stuck in this situation. And for RTZ, they just rotate first. They give up the tier tower at the farming lane. At the same time, rotate to the top. They try to do the tower trade. Oh, they're just playing really greedy. They didn't want to let anything out of their hand, out of their control. So it seems like they try to seduce KAW Gaming to go deeper, and now it's gonna be the time for them to initiate, get a really nice CC control. Some of his ulti has been forced out, but this time Yixing caging 3 people and let them to have the chance to take that Zhao Huajin down. From this team fight, I would say KAW Gaming totally fall behind.
Blue team
They lost their chance to gain a priority in the early game.
Red team has
So
destroyed
that's
a
the
turret.
trick that RTZ played. They try to play a fake thing. They try to let KAW Gaming to reckon that that RTZ tried to do the tower dive. So once they saw that Ladison was not at the front, KG trying to do the like field invasion, they try to take away that blue buff. But the problem is the rotation was just being really tight. Ladison was there on the top side of the map, but the next second she was directly at the front and complete the CC provided by Lotus LC. And from the small window that we can see our screen, RTZ are playing in a quite chill way. Everyone just sitting down, and it seems like they're not worried about what's happening right now. Everything seems to be under control of them. Everything seems to be under control. Because they know that they need to secure Lady Sun's farming. And now 1,000 gold difference already can be seen between two marksmen. Killer gaming. I would say the next thing, small piece of advice that I would give, to Killer gaming would be let Mulan to rotate down, because Mulan is the only hero that can approach to the backliners from RTZ. And now you can see apparently Mulan is trying to do the split up push. Try to do the 4-1 push, try to take the tier 2 tower on the top side. But after that, it's gonna be the time for Killer Gaming to initiate. That's gonna be the actual movement. And here comes Zhang Fei, and the Liam Pool. 3 people has been knocked off, but he's just gonna be really deep. Everyone just being scattered. But here comes Yamato Musashi, lock in the back liner and got him the double qual. He's even chasing up this Gongsun Li, but Gongsun Li just escape away from all of those surroundings. And Zhang Fei, lucky boy, the same too, just escape away from the surrounding, but at the end, RTZ make it to a 1-3 trade. I almost thought that Killer Gaming could want the initiation, because Mulan and also like the momentum that I can feel from Killer Gaming is trying to make something happen on their opponent's wrap-up field. But the problem is they are totally scattered by Liam Pu's ulti. Xuan just, sacrifice himself and try to break the whole battle queue to separate all of those opponents and let Miyamoto Musashi or Lady Sun to have the chance to take all of those enemies down one by one. That's a role how Liam Pu is playing at that skirmish. "10 minutes mark." For RTZ, I guess the next movement is trying to take away that mutual objective too. If they got a really great chance to take double dragon, why not?
Red team.
First thing first, take out the tier 1 tower on the top side of the map, clean up all those minions, and now everything's ready. Rotate back, find a really nice chance. Why Mulan would be in this position? It's really hard for Mulan to go in so deep once they lost all of those outer towers.
Red team has destroyed a turret.
It would be a better thing for Zhang Fei to, stab into all those bushes and check in whether there's enemies in there or not. But it should be Mulan, because Mulan is not tanky enough, and Mulan only has one way to get out, is trying to trigger his flash. But also flash would be the only way for Mulan to have extra distance to get access to Lady Sun. So it's really hard for Mulan to decide. And again, for RTZ, if they have got a great chance to take double dragon, why not? Shadow Overlord has been taken by RTZ. They released the strongest vanguards at the farming lane. Seems like they're trying to aim in at the high ground tower at the farming lane. But even more is that no one from Killer Gaming side is trying to guard their high ground tower at the farming lane. Zhang Fei just trying to block away all of those enemies. And thanks to Zhang Fei just trying to sacrifice himself and gaining more time for Killer Gaming. But what about the strongest Vanguards? It's gonna be the great time for RTZ to close out the game. They're just sending the Vanguards into the crystal and try to force all of those opponents back. The only thing that they need to do is trying to take some basic attack on this crystal, and that's gonna be the win for RTZ. Victory goes to RTZ 2-0. Will be the result. Nice job. Another 2-0. Well, 2-0 would be such a great relief to RTZ, because once they got this one win, that also means they will have one win, one draw, and one loss. And they still got another chance to play against Nova. It's gonna depend on the last game. Last game will be RCG play against Impunity. Both teams got one win and one loss. So for RTZ, they got this precious 3 points, what also means they still got the opportunity, they still have the possibility to escape from that promotion and relegation. They still have the chance to, you know, do not take that risk. Do not trying to play against BSE or Fano or MNH. So really nice job done by RTZ. They gained for it, you know, they gained for it by themselves. And for Killer Gaming, sadly, Killer Gaming needs to, you know, play in the promotion and relegation, and it's gonna be best of 5. So it's also gonna be a task for the hero pool. But once again, due to their previous matchup, we can see Killer Gaming actually they used a variety of hero pools, so I don't think that will be a problem for this team. It's more like Killer Gaming should have a tighter coordination. If they really want to play around some core player, they need to thoroughly execute that. For example, feed him up or let him to be 100% resources sharing and let him to carry the game. But if they still want to do a lot of like solo fight or split up push, instead of trying to play like a full team, I would say it's gonna be really hard for Killer Gaming to make it out. And this time MVP goes to RTZ Ben. Wow. Again, I'm really curious about why Ben is trying to do this tigress posture. If we had like, oh, is he imitating the posture that Yixin is having right now? I kinda understand it right now. You guys can see it, right? Like Yixin's posture trying to play the chess, trying to play the go, and it seems like Ben is doing exactly the same posture. So it's not like tigress, it's more like you're playing the go chess. Alright, clever me. Anyway, we can see like the first blood that Yixin got, and also every time when RTZ try to pushing forward, they always let Bing to cage in several people. And also this time, it's also gonna be Bing's sensation that he like detect that Mulan was the ambushing in that bush. And the last team fight, he caged in the Zhang Fei. Zhang Fei has been taking out the most tanky hero from KG's side. And also that just opened a window for RTZ sending in the strongest vanguards and did that last hit to the crystal, help them to win against Killer Gaming with a 2-0. So we can see a lot of mid laners actually having the MVP right now, because in this patch utility mages can be seen in quite a frequent way. So how you're gonna initiate, how you're gonna buy time for your allies will be one of those great things to testify if you're qualified to play as a utility mage or not. And I would say Bane did quite a great job. So again, for today's second matchup, we can see RTZ 2-0 win against Killer Gaming. That somehow, well, you say Killer Gaming will go to play our promotion and relegation. On the other side, for RTZ, they still got their chance to, to take less risk. It all depends on our last game. That's going to be RCG play against Impunity. So the last matchup will not only have impacts on these two teams, but also will have impacts on RTZ. So I'm really looking forward to our last matchup for today. And also for these two teams, I would say RTZ in Season 2, I didn't expect that they would facing such a great or such a dangerous position. Because I still remember in Season 1, RTZ actually was the top one. He actually secured his first place of the ranking in the whole regular season. I mean, we were doing double round robin in regular season in Season 1, and RTZ was the first place. They even got a higher ranking than Nova Esports. So it would be quite a shock for me to see RTZ actually facing such a dangerous position in Season 2. But however, that also somehow means that all of those level skills has been improved from all of those teams, right? We've got 12 teams right now in Season 2, and it seems like every single team just went in a quite tight relationship. Ignoring BSE in Group B or Nova Esports in Group A, I mean, right? The rest of the teams, the next 5 teams actually have a really similar like competing power, just being really competitive. So the next matchup is going to be really critical, and we're just going to go through a short break and we will be back. RTZ, they can just easily play around the Scarrow, try to take more towers, but here comes Eugene.
确认击败行动方案，万无一失。喂，给挡住了。 对面的身手。
Double kill.
千锤百炼，这就是老炮。让你过过瘾。
需要帮忙吗？
Triple kill 黄忠单。
战神。
除了横扫千军，老头还能做什么呢？干爆了！
英雄登场。填充完毕，火力全开，完美操作。准备好了吗？来点火爆的。伤口可不是什么值得炫耀的事情。
From Tempest Dragon, it's quite difficult for RPG to guard their pistol, and then they're trying to force it down from KG, and then KG with the super minions down the track. Well, luckily they cleaned it out. However, this outer just not enough, and with the Tempest Dragon from the mid lane, we can actually.
方寸棋盘便是我的天地，一死定乾坤。
我退，还想跑，跑得掉吗？
收官，逃离不敢相让。
他们完蛋了。
飞星。
Welcome back. This is the live of Honor of Kings Asian Wave event season 2, and I'm today's caster Nora, and we're gonna dive right into our last matchup. That's gonna be Impunity play against RCG. We mentioned about the ranking, right? The current ranking, and after RTZ win against KAW Gaming with a 2-0, we can see RTZ actually they will have less stress because they still got one game left when they're gonna play against Nova Esports the day after tomorrow. But for KAW Gaming, actually they already finished up all of those matchups in round 1 in our regular season, so the ranking is fixed. The score is fixed. So for KAW Gaming, it's probably they're gonna vie for the ticket to secure their place in Group A via that promotion and relegation. And that's all depends on our last game. It's gonna be RCG play against Impunity. For Impunity, the lineup we are quite familiar with because actually they just stay with the same person. They would stay with the same player. But Impunity right now got 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 loss. That also means they only got 4 points in their hand. They're now at the 4th place. The 4th place will not be considered as a safe position, you know, because the 4th place after RTZ got 1-2-0 win. Impunity is quite like threatened by RTZ right now. They really need to secure their place by their own efforts, which means they need to win against RCG better with a 2-0. And about RCG, actually they rotate a lot. For example, their confront laners and their marksman always rotate a lot, and this time they choose to let Sadness to play as their marksman. I do have my image on Sadness, my impression on Sadness, because like he's always not smiling but when he's playing marksman, he's just like, he's playing in quite a serious way every time. I just remember like the first showcase when RCG did, it was Sadness tried to carry his team, so I guess that's the reason why in this important moment, and they try to trust the marksman again. Let sadness to play as the lineup. All right, and that's all of the current ranking analyst, and now we're gonna dive right into our data comparison and break it down a little bit to you guys. We can see like for Impunity, it's also gonna be really surprising that actually they got such a little gold per minute and also average kill per match, because we know that Impunity actually just have quite a high reputation, right? Impunity, they're quite experienced, and they always have great results when they put effort in. They always considered as one of those most strongest teams in our KAW, and also they won the runner-up in season 1. But the problem is in season 2, Impunity seems like a little bit lost. Maybe that's gonna be something to do with the patch difference, right? Because this patch, it requires the top laner to play more warriors than tank, and also requires the core jungler to play more tanks. So like maybe the adaptation seems to be not that well for Impunity. They're being into the most down times, I would say. I do hope that this team could buck up and just trying to put more efforts and train more and try to solve this problem out. I do have my faith in this team that once this problem has been solved, everything will be really good. So actually that will pressure more on the confront laners, which could be X-Hero. We mentioned about this player several times because X-Hero actually is really potential. He initially played as the mid laner, and then he rotated to play as a confront laner, and then on the other tournament he got back to his original place to play as a mid laner. But now after 1 month in this game, he just rotates to the confront laner again. We know that it's going to be a huge challenge for those heroes because it's not easy for you to master the way that how you're gonna change your mindset, the way that how you're gonna use different mechanics, and the way that how you're gonna skill in different heroes, right? It's gonna be a difficult job. It's gonna be a difficult task. So I guess maybe X-Hero still need time to adapt to it. And also for RCG, RCG is one of those team that can really operate in the game because they are the very first team who can master Dacha strategy, and we all know that how important Dacha strategy is. It's just like the strat hold when you're playing this game to testify if you're a good team or not. If you're really good at playing this Dacha strategy, that at least means you have a quite clear mind, a quite clear overview towards the whole game. You know that on what exactly critical moment will be the time for you to take actions. So that's the reason why RCG actually always gonna be at the mid ranking. I mean, they never fall really behind, but it's more like who's gonna take the responsibility to be the most shining part. It seems like RCG, the coordination is quite tight, but you always need to have that one person to always be the shot caller, or always gonna be the main core player, the key point, right? The key player. You definitely need to have that kind of player in your team. But for RCG, the problem is everyone's level skill is quite equalized. Everyone's hero pool is quite similar, and also like everyone's play style is quite similar. So that's gonna be the problem. If you're always gonna have a mid level, it's gonna at least make sure that you won't fall behind a lot. But at the same time, it also means that you do not have that kind of power. You do not have that kind of how can I put it? You do not have that kind of miracle, or you do not have that kind of trust to let you bomb up into a high position, because like there's no kind of like technically a key player in your team. So once you're facing a really severe choices, like you got plan A, you got plan B, and who's gonna make the final decision, right? You can't be not that decisive. You can't hesitate it a lot because it's a really high tempo game. Once you hesitate, maybe you're gonna miss a lot of important moments, missed a lot of important chances. So that's the problem for RCG to solve. I mean, they're doing quite well so far, but if they really need to claim a higher rank to compete with those strongest teams right now in KAW, they really need to reconsider about who's gonna be the Mr. Key in their team, and try to, you know, organize the team more about who's gonna take the most important decision when they're facing those crucial moments. And I guess that will help them to step forward and try to, you know, step higher. All right, and we can see like both teams actually the rotation is going to be really important too, because for Impunity we mentioned about how fixed their lineup is. It can go either way. If they do have their most confident composition, it will help them to, you know, just utilize the same comp, win again and again, just like what Nova Esports did. But the problem is, if we scrutinize the hero uses again, we would say actually Impunity, they're also kind of lost with what they want to use. I mean, they used those warriors on the side lane several times, for example Alien or Sherwood, but none of them wins. The only hero that they used to be the warrior win would be Main. They used it once and they got another win. And another problem is that the Flower actually have like his most signature hero, that would be Lady Sun and also Gongsun Li and also KAW. So I'm wondering if Impunity will do the same thing or not. Drafting means a lot, and here's the thing. We just got the news that it's because RCG, they changed their lineups after they hand the fixed lineup over to our tournament. So as a punishment, RCG will not allowed to ban away 4 heroes in this round. They will take that as a punishment, and that's due to our format and due to our rules. Sorry, but we need to be serious about our rules. And that's actually, well, led Impunity to win the upper hand, because RCG, they can't do a lot of targeting bans, they can't ban away those OP heroes, but at the same time, Stachao would be an open choice because Impunity chose to use this Shamongxi. It's a double-edged sword, because RCG, we know that they're really good at playing this Stachao strategy, right? They've been playing this Stachao strategy since season 1, that only few teams could master it at that time, and they had quite a high winning rate. So this time, actually Stachao was an open choice. They just use it, their most signature comp, and paired up with this Fuzu with the Stachao strategy. Not only providing initiation, but also led them to be quite flex, and led them to seize a lot of opportunities to, you know, sending all of those minions forwards and pushing forwards, stealing out those towers. So it's gonna be really useful. And for Impunity, taking out this Gongsun Li. We mentioned about this Gongsun Li several times. We know that Flower is really confident with this Gongsun Li. And also they try to break the duel that RCG might have. That's gonna be Stachao with that Gongsun Li. Impunity definitely don't want RCG to have the complete Dacha strategy. So they just take this Lumi away and pair it up with this Tai Zhenren. Once they use this Tai, that also means they will have a really tanky frontliners. Maybe Xiaojun, maybe Lianpo. Lianpo will be a nice choice, or Xiangyu on the top lane, because both Lianpo and Xiangyu will allow Impunity to have extra ability to push all those people away from Dacha's formation, from Dacha's transportation. And also their tankiness can allow them to just block away this Fuzi. They can be the one to let Fuzi bound them. So Lianpo or Xiangyu, both gonna be quite nice choice. Seems like Impunity goes to the Lianpo. Nice choice. And also here's a trick. Here's a detail. Lianpo's ulti will knock off his enemies 3 times in a row, right? And the third time will have the highest height once he knocks off his enemies. And that height, because our game is actually a 3-dimensional game, so actually the third height that Lianpo leverage on his enemy will let them to, won't let them to take in Dacha's transportation and be sent back to home. That is one small trick. And that's the reason why a lot of teams trying to use this Lianpo to play against Dacha. And for RCG, no doubt they're trying to do the pushing strategy, and actually they're taking out double warriors, and it's quite prevalent in this patch because we know that this is actually a warrior patch, right? A lot of warriors gonna be really OP, and also a lot of tanks gonna help them to gain substantial abilities during the team fight. And also double warrior will let them to be really tanky, gain more visions, and trying to be so solid in the big engagement. But the problem is also gonna be due to double warrior strategy. That also means you're gonna be great doing melee fight, but it's also gonna be easy for your opponents to kiting you. For example, for Gongsun Li, using his mobility, is really easy for Flower to keep a safe distance and try to kite his opponent. So it go either ways. It all depends on how RCG is gonna utilizing this Dacha strategy. And again, this matchup is not only have impacts on both teams, but also for like RTZ. He's still waiting for the results about this team. It's gonna decide who's gonna take the promotion and relegation test. And let's dive right into game 1. Impunity play against RCG. Impunity on the blue side, RCG on the red. I'm your caster Nora. Wow, the opening set we can see Nakamura. Nakamura is taking a really risky movement. He's going really deep into his opponent's red box side and has been taken down by Zhou Yu. On the other side, the other 2 members from Impunity side try to, harass this Jin a lot. But the problem is, Nakamura has been taken down. It really hurt, it really hurt to Impunity when they lost their important jungler in the early game. And I would also say it would be a quite bold opening set design for Impunity, because the way that Nakamura have the confidence to go so straight forward would be, he didn't expect that Da Qiao would have the sensation to check the red buff side. But I think Impunity did it in a quite obvious way. I mean, they sent 2 people to harass Jin in such an annoying way. Definitely RCG will have the sensation that, okay, maybe you're trying to harass me to buy more time for other things. For example, while you're trying to steal away my red buff, so they just let Dacha to take a look and boom, that's it. Bingo. It's hard to say, like, if it's because Impunity is being a little bit bold or they're trying to, you know, play a chess. You know, no risk, no reward. But RCG, again, their coordination. We mentioned about their coordination again and again, right? They can play the Dacha strategy well, and at the same time, like, the communication went quite tight. Every single time when they're trying to do something, they are just gonna directly go for it. They try to take down the tier 1 tower, but it's a bit early. Because it hasn't been 4 minutes, so the protection provided by the tower still be there. And for RCG, best thing that you are gonna have is that once you got that out, never worry about your HP. Everyone right now on the battlefield has already upgraded to level 4. So I guess some big team fights will be witnessed in the next few minutes. And first, RCG, they will gain a priority about the mainland tower, because it will be 4 minutes mark after they win the priority about the rotation. They can just instantly rotate down and let Zhou or Fuzi trying to take out that tier 1 tower. Hide and seek. No one knows that Mengtian was actually in that way. And now it's gonna be Da Chao using his ulti and trying to take out the tier 1 tower. Impunity just did a tower trade. They sent this recently to the other side of the map. It not only just liberalized Gongsun Li, but also did the tower trade. Impunity is also one of those teams who can play that Dacho well. So definitely they know that every single mark, every single details about this strategy. But some difference can be seen right now from both jungler, because Jinx KDA was really nice, 101, and also the items gonna be quite decent. So in the mid game, I would say RCG, they have the priority to do a lot of things. Unless Impunity, they just let that mid laner, Mengxi, to leverage his ultimate, leverage all those bombs onto the opponent. RCG, again, Da Chao just summon his allies. They're always gonna have numbers advantage, and nice initiation provided by Fuzi. Take this totally down. They always have numbers advantage. Just only one call. I really like to play Da Chao myself too, because you know you do have that kind of power. Feel like you're gonna be the leader of the team. Only one small call. Just like you're calling your friends, are you available tonight? I got something and you didn't even finish it, and your friends just say, yeah, why not? I'm coming. Here I am. Boom. So it's really nice when you're playing this hero. Extra fun. For Impunity, they're just dealing the situation in quite a mature way, because the key point if you want to play that show well is that you always need to have priority about cleaning the mid lane. So for Impunity, once they fall behind a little bit, the first thing that they make sure that they won't do wrong is that they well clean up all those minion waves in the mid. Won't let RCG to have chance to pressure on the mid lane tower. And now Fuzu and Danchao is playing in a quite annoying way. You could never catch them. You could never ever catch them. So Impunity is going to do the split up push, I guess. One people just being sent to the side lane, for example, Nakaruru, try to just even up the minions, won't let the minions be sent too deep into their own side. And at the same time, Impunity always trying to make something happen around the mid lane. Because Dachao is one of those heroes needs to stay at the side lane. And now here comes Jin, try to aim it at the support from Impunity's side. The LT has been triggered, but it's going to be too late for them to stand back. And RCG make it to a 0-2 trade. Again, Dachao's ability allowed them to always have numbers in advantage. And for Impunity, Nakaruru! Wow. I would say RCG, they always have their awareness about how they're gonna protect their jungles. They know that for teams like Impunity, will always have the sensation to trade for something. So after RCG make it to a 0-2 trade, the first thing that Jin do was retreat back to his base, fulfill his HP bars, and then check his own jungles. And he catch the Nakaruru. Fuzu missed the first choice, but his ulti bound really nice people. That's gonna be the support. So Taijun was being taken out from the Sing fight, and also the top laner has been taken out. Usually try to make some constellation effort, make it to a 1-1 trade, bring Dachao down, but at the end, RCG still win the upper hand. 1-3 trade. It's gonna be quite tough time for Impunity to go through right now, because as the time goes on, the damage dealt done by Shomongshi would be weaker and weaker. And also they relied a lot on Nakaruru's farming. Nakaruru already got the siege breaker, but the problem is the pre-damage wouldn't be enough. Nakaruru needs to clean up the battle, right? He needs to be the final person to get into the crowd, to make sure that he would always do the fatal strike. And the problem is, who's gonna do the poking damage? Who's gonna leverage the poking damage to be the pre-stat for Nakaruru to come in? I mean, Shomonshi's item was totally not enough. And Shomonshi would be a great hero to deal those minions. But if it comes to the mid lane game, those tankies from RCG side, I mean, for example, Fuzi and also Mongtian would cause havoc to this hero. So if RCG again get back to their own strategy, just pushing forward, and they know that they just have that kind of confidence that your damage dot wouldn't be enough. So they're just wandering in quite a bold way, and even further is that they catch this Gongsun Li Once up is absent from the front, I would say RCG, they can just accelerate their pace. They just reset a lot of fireballs by Zhou Yu and try to take down the mid-high ground tower. And now that Fuzi just want to get back to the base, but it takes time. Shimongshi did it to a 1-1 trade. Fuzi was standing in that formation because he thought that the basic attack won't be enough to take him down. But the truth is, Shimongshi's bomb still hurt. Still hurt. RCG really needs to Fuzi. They really need Fuzi to be there. Because Fuzi's ulti and Fuzi's first ability is the only way to let them to initiate. Without Fuzi, there's no initiation. No initiation, no engagement, no pushing forward. Well, we can see Jin already made her stop breaker. Well, let this hero to have extra armor pierce, so well, I would say Gongsun would be such a switchy hero for Jin from now on. Even for Lian 4. Lian's ulti has been forced out and flashback. 3 people has been controlled. Nakamura is waiting for the right moment, but there's only a healthy tank standing in front of him. And Nakamura, here comes Nakamura, is swooped down and tried to take 1 people down. But the problem is, like, Mongtian is just being really tanky. Mongtian is totally teared up Impunity into 2 different parts, and Nakamura tried to take that Mongtian down, but paid the price of his life. Jin find the right position and time and did a 1-1 trade, make it to a 2-3 trade. Shimongshi is the only one right now being alive from Impunity's side, but there's too many vanguards for him to deal with. He tried his best, but I think 3 people still be there, not even mentioning Fuzi is still alive. Sending all those vanguards, and congratulations to RCG. Again, by using the Snatcher strategy, RCG gave themselves another win. That's it. I mean, like in the previous matchup, it's not easy for them to take out the Snatcher because, like most of the time, teams will ban away the Snatcher. They won't let Snatcher out. But this time, RCG got themselves this Snatcher, and using this sophisticated strategy helped them to gain another win against Impunity. RCG's coordination is always going to be really tight. You can see it from their pathing, from their rotation. Like the support always going to come up instantly. The support from their allies always gonna come on time, right on time. Every single time when Zachao break his ultimate trying to summon his allies, maybe in 1 or 2 seconds they will be there, and that's the main reason why they always be so sure that they will have numbers advantage and help them to win against those team fights in the early and mid game. And those team fights just, you know, settled the base about how they're gonna snowball the game. Once they win against Impunity in the early game, they can just easily manage the waves and try to pushing forward, because they know that the damage out wouldn't be enough from Impunity's side. Well, for Impunity, I would say it would be quite a pity for them, because they definitely have been through a lot of up and downs. For example, like recently, they didn't have a real nice score comparing to their performance in last season, right? Last season they got several wins in a row, and they got the final runner-ups. And this time in season 2, it seems like Impunity, they still need to polish a little bit. Maybe it's because the rotation that they made, like the mid laner and also the junglers has substitute for the original one. So maybe they should, you know, reorganize a little bit, and also like the way how they're gonna snowball the game. I mean, if you only want to snowball the game or make some windows open for you by invading into the jungle, it won't be workable in this patch. I mean, last patch when we're in season 1, you can always you can always rely on those early invasions and help you to snowball the game from the very first minute. But in this patch, since the protection from the field has been improved to 15%, so it's gonna be not that kind of effective, even more like risky for you to do so. And this time we can see MVP goes over to TNX or CG's jungler. Jhin would be TNX signature hero, I would say. And we can see the damage dealt quite significant. 33.7% of the damage dealt is quite high. And also like the damage taken is gonna be great. It's basically because Jhin is always be the very first one to dash in and did the kill, just like this one. Jhin would always be the one to dash in first. And this team fight, we can see Impunity actually they are quite ready for, you know, embracing this kind of initiation. But the problem is Nakamura wait in quite a nice position, but no damage can be seen from Impunity. That's a problem when we're talking about around like 8 minutes or 9 minutes. We said that because of the gold deficit, actually the damage dealt wouldn't be enough, because like both Gong Li or Shenmeng Xi do not have enough items to help them, you know, get some damage on those tanks from RCG. And that's gonna be game 1, right? RCG already got the match point, and for Impunity, they still got the chance to gain 1 point back to make it to a draw. And again, for Impunity, the ranking is not that good because they got only 4 points in their hand. They're actually at the 4th place. But good news to them is that actually after today's matchup, they still got 1 game left. They will play against Scars tomorrow. That's gonna be a back-to-back schedule, and it's gonna be their last game. But for RCG today, they're gonna finish up their matchups. All 5 matchups will be finished, and for RCG, that also means the ranking will be fixed. The score will be fixed. So the best thing for RCG to do is to win against Impunity with a 2-0. Make sure that they got another 3 points, and another 3 points will help them to get a even higher ranking, and they do have their chances to even outplay Scars. I mean, because there's only 7 points right now in Scars' hand. Scars lost their games with a 0-2 against Nova Esports. So if RCG win against Impunity with a 2-0, that will make them to claim as the top 2. Wow, that would be such a great gap. And let's see how RCG is going to do this for themselves. Game 2, and both teams just changed their side. RCG on the blue side, Impunity on the red side. Let's see how they're gonna do the drop. RCG definitely well banned with this Dachao because we know that Impunity is also gonna be a Dachao playing team. And Impunity ban away the Shimongxi. RCG do something to the Shangfei. Taiyu is available. Okay, Taiyu is not available right now. Taiyu would be considered as the most OP hero right now in KAW as a support. RCG take out Zhao Huaizhen. Well, they just paired Zhao Huaizhen with main on the top side. We don't know, left that as a question. And for Impunity, just try to divide that duel. Just do not want RCG to have that Zhao Huaizhen plus Zhao Jing complete the CC. And Impunity goes to another tank jungler that is going to be Xiaohou. Well, in that case, I guess it's gonna be Byron play against main. But Impunity, actually they can just lock in Sun Bin. Or RCG can grab Sun Bin away. Alright, RCG grabs Sun Bin away. They won't let Impunity to complete their strategy too. So it's gonna be Byron play against me. And what other support that Impunity had? If they want to go for a quite aggressive way, I would say Lambert would be a nice choice. Or if they want to play in a safe way, maybe Luban Master plus Wang Zhong or Luban Master plus Jie would be a nice choice. And for RCG, for their mid lane, Yixing has been banned away. Yixing definitely would be the best choice for RCG because RCG really need not only control ability but also AoE damage. There's so lack of AoE damage right now. Or RCG can play in another way. For example, just let Haya to play as the mid lane and carry out another really carrying marksman. In Impunity, taking out this Luba Master just like what I said. And RCG, Gongsun Li, so the mid can be Yingzhong, can be Haya. Angela, alright. Angela would be considered as a substitution for Zhao Jing because it do have the capacity about gaining the priority of the mid lane because Angela would be great at cleaning all those minions. And at the same time, Angela can complete a combo, complete a CC with Zhao Huaizhen. Once Zhao Huaizhen break his first ability, right, do the initiation, drag someone back, and instantly Angela just come up with her second ability or like the whole combo, will let them to do an insta kill on someone. So it's gonna be a really nice combo that we can see from RCG. The only shortage that RCG has will be the tankiness. Because we can see a lot of warriors, we can see a lot of like Angela or heroes like Gongsun Li, both are squishy backliners. So it's really hard for RCG to gain those visions once they fall behind. Once they fall behind, they can only use their abilities to check whether there's enemies in the bush or not, but that sometimes will be waste of your abilities and let you to play reactively during the engagement. the way that RCG is trying to play right now is no more retreat. They should play in a fierce way. Always attacking, always win the upper hand. And for Impunity, last chance for them to make it to a tie. Let's see, will Impunity do it or not? Goes into our second game. RCG on the blue side, while Impunity on the red side. I'm your caster, Nora. And for Impunity, I would say Consort Yu would be a safe choice. We know that Impunity definitely know that if they lost a game with a 0-2, maybe they have the possibility to go into the promotion and relegation. They definitely do not want to face that. So this time at this game 2, they use this Consort Yu to make sure that they can drag the game into the late game. I mean, after 15 minutes, Impunity's comp will be really solid, really tanky, and also provide Consort Yu a nice comp, a nice setting for him to do the output. But before 15 minutes, it's gonna all be RCG's time to initiate. And when Byron is doing solo against main, due to Byron's own tankiness and also Byron's passive, he will win the upper hand with no doubt. That's the reason why when we're talking about the drop team, as long as I see main has been taken out, I predict that it's gonna be a Byron to be the counter attack towards main. Impunity won't be rushing to something. They know that while the night's gonna be long, it's gonna be a long night. It's only 2 minutes. And let's recheck the solo. X0 flashed out, but it seems to be a really dangerous corner. There's no way for him to get out. First blood goes over to RCG. The gank that TNX did. Actually, X0 definitely would be like, okay, we're just gonna do the solo. I 100% that I'm 100% sure that I can, take you down. He just somehow like being a little bit like overstepped. Because once you have like 100% confidence, you're gonna be overstepped a little bit and ignoring about the bushes, ignoring about your opponent's allies. So far so good for RCG. And for Impunity, again, Impunity do not need to rush into anything. The only thing that they need to do is wait. Especially in the mid game, I mean from 8 minutes to 12 minutes. If Impunity can make it from 8 minutes to 12 minutes, they can make sure that the late game can be promised. But if not, it will probably be RCG utilizing a big team fight and close out the game. Oh, nice ambush. And main tried to kick Byron back, but Byron, this is why we call Byron being so OP in this patch. A simple outie and like the passive allow him to gain that HP restore. I think like that was a really nice get, a really nice set from the end. But the burst damage didn't like be really enough.
Red team has destroyed
Or their lack of a little bit control ability. If Zhao Huazhen was there, I guess things gonna be different. RCG is waiting for one chance. They only need one shot. They only need one shot to take one person down, and the snowball will begin. Here it is. They try to drag the Xiaodun in, but Xiaodun has his impunity when he's using his ulti. Toasted his chain, escape away from this. But what about poor Zhao Jun? There's no way for Zhao Jun to get away. Because Zhao Jun is not available to use that flash at that time. He's totally controlled. RCG didn't use the absence of Zhao Jun to try to take down more tower. Even worse is that Impunity actually take out the tier 1 tower at the farming lane. So for RCG right now, we mentioned about their lack of their tankiness. The only thing that they can do is just using their ability constantly to detect whether there's people ambushing there or not. Sometimes it's gonna be a waste of damage, but they are just gonna put in all of this burst damage on poor Zhao Jun again. I feel so sorry for Zhao Jun right now. Because Zhao Jun's only gonna be the easy catcher from RCG side. I mean, from RCG's perspective, I can't put in all of those burst damage on Byron or on Xiaodun. They're just being too tanky for them to deal with. And at the same time, it's really hard for them to get access to Console Yu. So definitely Zhao Jun's gonna be the easy target. Oh ho, they're now looking for Byron. Byron breached his ulti, and they did all of those things that they can on this Byron. At the same time, the Impunity tried to aim it at the Warriors too, and he should just break his ulti and kick that main off. Both Warriors, both top laners just being really painful. And that's because both teams actually are capable to do that 4-1 push. But the one definitely will be the Warriors, definitely will be the confront laners.
Blue team has destroyed a turret.
Both teams are waiting for the 10 minutes mark. The 10 minutes mark is going to be the turning point of this game. Though Impunity is lack of enough damage, but they can just use their tankiness to gain the vision to do a lot of harass. Oh, Byron straight lead, dash in, flash in, and take that Angela down. Wow, what about the front? Let's see. Zhao Jun already break his ulti, so what about the middling tower? I mean, if they break his ulti, there's no way for them to clean up all those minion waves. Zhao Jun tried to drag this minion in, but here comes the monster, just block away all of those people and break his ulti, try to threat them and force them to retreat back. Wow. And now it's almost being so close to our 10 minutes mark. That's why we call it decisiveness, you know. RCG tried to do the dragon trade, but Impunity just find out a really nice moment and even find out this main. One tower plus a main. Trade for that tyrant. Trade for that overlord.
Red team has slain an enemy.
Only in one blink that Axiora comes in and bring that Angela down. That's the thing. That's the decisiveness that we mentioned about before today's matchup. We said like RCG's coordination is really tight, but they do not have a technically Mr. T in the in the lineup. So when they're facing like so many multiple choices, it's really hard for them to decide who's gonna be the one to be the shot caller. And this time we can see TNX reclaim the Dark Tyrant. And even more is that RCG, they even take that Luma Monster down. Impunity feels like a bit lost. It's like after this Dark Tyrant has been reclaimed by RCG, Impunity kind of lost their pace. They feel like, okay, you can take the dragon, but we need to gain something back. But the problem is that the damaged out. We mentioned about the damaged out, right? Like before 15 minutes, the damaged out definitely would have been enough, and probably it's gonna be a like one-way ticket for Impunity. We mentioned about like the damage out in the mid game because like constantly do not have enough item, and also like RCG is a typical mid game playing comp. Only like one small gank will let them to leverage, will let them to scale up. And now it's gonna be the greatest time for RCG to snowball the game. Do a lot of invasions, taking out a lot of neutral resources. Try to, you know, gap a little bit about their goal difference and try to close out the game within 15 minutes. Zhao Jun's flash has been forced out, and she even throws this Xiao Huaizhen, and it's gonna be a really nice choice for Zhao Jun to do so. But here comes this Byron, try to do the same trick, but this time RCG, they flash away to safety. Impunity still needs time. And good news to them is that the High Ground Tower is still there. Hasn't been taken down. At least they got equalized minions. And for RCG, they are the one being a little bit worried and anxious right now. Because like the vision has been gaining back. The Shadow Overlord is under Impunity's control. They released the Dark Path at the farming lane. And now actually Impunity is gathering together, try to do some initiation. Whoa, that was really dangerous for Zhao Jun, and Zhao Jun just flashed in, leveraged his ulti, providing a great AoE damage. Zhao Jun said, "Okay, I would never be I would never be the pathetic one. You know, I would never be the pathetic one, the tragedy. I would be my own host. I would be my own hero." Again, the decisiveness that we mentioned to RCG. Once it comes to a high pace, high temp game, RCG didn't, you know, really suffocate their opponents a lot. Nice initiation. Drag this Consort E back. Find a really nice moment. Because when Consort E trying to poke in his enemy by using his first ability, he's gonna stand there for a moment. And that kind of immobile moment would be the one for RCG to catch. Dark Tyrant goes over to RCG, helps them to gain extra damage out. So it's gonna be the greatest time for RCG to close out the game right now. Sending all those minions trying to manage the wave
has destroyed a
and
turret.
pressures on impunity. They should just, you know, to guard their high ground tower. It's almost close. They are almost there. It's already been 15 minutes. Only 3 minutes that they need will let them to be fully completed. Another ambush from Angela. Angela flashed out, and Zhao Jun has been caught. Once Zhao Jun has been caught, there's no way for impunity to clean up the minions. But first thing first, Byron will be the next target for RCG. RCG, wow, what a nice one. That was a really sudden movement, and they did a 0-2 trade. Even though they used a lot of summon skills, but they worth it. And now everyone trying to force this Castle U to get back, try to block them away because they try to send the minion waves into the high ground tower. Main sacrifice themselves, and Castle U try his best take that Castle U down, but they make it to a 1-1 trade. RCG taking out the high ground tower in the mid, and Castle still be there aliving. And Zhao Jun putting his ulti, try to close out the game, and now it's gonna be RCG's time to yell it out loud. It's gonna be a 2-0 clear win against Impunity. Wow. RCG just catch that last moment, I would say. Last moment. If it's not because of Heart, the Angela ambush in that mid lane and did that burst damage to be the preset and let Zhao Huaizhen to, you know, initiate and drag that Zhao Jun back, it will be really hard for RCG to turn this thing around, because Impunity was almost there. Impunity was almost there. They were really close to their like fully piled up composition. So nice job for RCG. And that's the thing we were mentioning about. You need to have your Mr. Key to stand out. And I would say Angela was the Mr. Key in this game for RCG. On the other hand, for Impunity, they lost their game, so they only got 4 points right now in their hand. But good news to them is that they still got 1 game left, and it's gonna be Scar's play against Impunity. These two teams have such a complicated relationship. I hope that tomorrow you guys can be here and watching these two teams play against each other. They've become such a I don't know, like complicated rivals, right? And they do have some interesting background stories and long histories. And tomorrow we will just share those stories to you guys when these two teams play against with each other. But you guys can see, if you really like, if you follow up with our live streams from season 1 to season 2, that the skill level has been minimized. The skill level, the understanding towards the game definitely has been minimized. Because we see that RTZ, who's actually the first place in the regular season in season 1, now would be the 5th place in the Group A. And for Impunity, who won the runner-ups, are actually now facing the situation that might demoting and to play that promotion and relegation format. And this time MVP goes over to Sadness. Smile, Sadness. Every time, you know, Sadness always play in a serious way, and this time he's constantly, right, using his frenzy and also the last team fight by using his Sun Chaser to longanize his attacking range, help them to find several nice moments, several nice chances. You can see, like, actually whoever want to play aggressively will definitely win the upper hand, because aggression sometimes is equal to opportunity, right? You need to play aggressively. That also means you will always have more opportunities than your opponents. And for impunity, I would say that would be a really great pity for impunity, because they are one of those teams I have my high expectations on, and I know that they always gonna be playing like a lion, where they do always have those kind of aggression in their mindset. But we can see game 2, when they're when they are acknowledged about their position, about what kind of future play they're gonna face, they are kind of lost, or kind of just being worried a little bit. So instead of just stick to their own strategies, actually they try to play safe and taking out that Konsu. I wouldn't say Konsu would be a regular choice, because Konsu always gonna be those heroes that is favored of maybe Scars or maybe Killer Gaming, right? Because Konsu, once you need to play that hero, that also means you definitely need at least 18 minutes. It's not that kind of impunity style. So after today's game, RCG 2-0 win against Impunity, we are still gonna have a short interview from players from both teams. Let's take a good look.
你玩的是镜，然后也抓住了几次对面的纳可露露，拿到了第一局的 MVP。那么你是如何评价自己今天的表现呢？In the first game, you played Jing and you ganked Nakololo a few times and also got the MVP of the first time. So how do you think of your own performance today?
我觉得今天的镜算是发挥的挺好的吧，比平时发挥的还好。因为主要他们选了个那个露露是用于限制我带线，可是我觉得我那把没有受到任何限制。
So this competitor says that he played very well of Jing today and is better than Euro. And he says that the opponent used Nakoloro to control him, but failed to do that. OK， 那你如何评价对手今天的表现呢？你有没有什么地方是你觉得值得你们去学习的？ So how do you think of your opponent's performance today? And do you think that there is anything that you can learn from them?
值得我们学习的话，可能是他们第二局的，他们那个踩视野的那个会布局的很好，就把我们限制的很死，在野区出不去吧。然后我们通过一个孙膑2技能冲出去的方式才打破这个僵局吧。
So this competitor says that their opponent, they arranged very well in the second round, and they limited them very well, and they have to do some other arrangements to break their attack. For example, they used Sun Bin's second skill to break their attack, and then they can win this game.
Once those players are taking those interviews, I just feel that like genuinity, because once you're just gonna get really familiar with those players, you know that most of the players, they do not want to, they always hide a lot of things back, you know, just holding these strategies. It's really rare to see players like TNX being so honest and so genuine about sharing all of those experience about how we're gonna execute our composition. He's a really like honesty player. And also he mentioned about how his previous opponents try to restrict his Jhin, right? Because everyone knows that Jhin is TNX's a signature hero. So some teams rather well just ban this Jhin away, or just in games try to, you know, restrict his split up push and try to harass him a lot. But he said like, okay, this time when they play against Impunity try to do the same trick, but they handle it well. They know that okay, this Jhin can use in his own mechanics and try to tackle all of those problems. And I'm really glad to see that they have, you know, a really upward trend to this team, to RCG. So actually our ranking will be reorganized a little bit, since Impunity actually got 0 points from today's matchup. They lost their games with a 0-2, and for RCG they will have another 3 points in their hand. So the ranking will be reorganized, but there's no doubt that Nova Esports definitely gonna have the first place in the whole ranking from Group A. And also, actually, I want to, you know, do a little bit predict in Group B, because from the current ranking in Group B, we can see BSE got 3 wins in a row, 0 lost, and definitely will have the first place. And for MAH and Fano, both teams got 2 wins and 1 loss, and both teams are actually at the second place. So the second place won't be that secured. And but for BSE, I have my faith in this team, because due to their performance in the previous matchups, BSE shows their dominance in Group B. So I do believe that BSE, if they just play exactly on the same level, I mean, they didn't make any like big mistakes, just, you know, play safe and stick to their own strategies and execute it well, I would say they have maybe up to 90% percentage possibility to be involved in our promotion and relegation and gaining for the ticket to go to Group A. We know that actually when it comes to our second round in our regular season, all teams will have the points cleared, which also means every point will be get back to 0 points. But the difference is that if you're in Group A, when you're in second round of our regular season, at least you will have your tickets going straight into the playoff. Because the playoff, we were gonna have 8 out of 12, and that's gonna be 6 teams from Group A and top 2 teams from Group B. So that's the reason why we mentioned about how serious situation for both like RTZ or KG or Impunity are facing right now, because they really, you definitely want to take less risk, right? You don't want to be hazard into, you know, a lot of uncertainties. Uncertainty is just gonna be really scary. Uncertainty is gonna be scary for all of those teams, because they fight and prepared for such a long time. At least they need to get into the playoffs. So let's take a real look about our today's results. Today's results actually all end up with a 2-0 again. Nova Esports 2-0 win against Scars, and RTZ got another 3 points. And for RCG, the last game they win against Impunity with a 2-0. So all of those 3 winners will have 3 points, extra 3 points in their hand. And as a prediction, I would say RTZ play against Nova Esports will be a fun game. And also for Scars, they're gonna play against Impunity tomorrow. It's gonna be the first game for tomorrow's matchup day. Scars play against Impunity is going to decide the final ranking and decide who's gonna be the 5th and 6th spot in Group A, and who is gonna be demoting into our promotion and relegation. As the current rank, we can see RTZ and Impunity are being at the same place, at the 4th place, and both team actually got 1 game left, so everything is not secured yet. The result is not promising yet. And tomorrow is gonna be Scars play against Impunity and Nova Esports play against RTZ. They will showcase the day after tomorrow. And for Group B, we mentioned about BSC's dominance, right? They do have their powers right now in Group B, so they have a really high possibility to be taking part into our promotion and relegation, which will be a best of 5 taking place at 11th on August. And now it's going to be our MVP ranking, Autumn, with 3 times definitely going to be the 1st place, and as Xuan and also as Hua, all 3 players have got MVP for 3 times, so they definitely will sharing the same spot as the 1st place. And we can see, wow, Zhihong, Sadness, and TNX, all of those 7 players actually sharing the same MVP time. So it's not only about the team position ranking, but also the MVP ranking. You know, everything just went so tight. And this sort of like making our events to be even more intense and attractive, I would say. So that's gonna be all of those parts for today's matchup. We can see the level skills again has been minimized. Everyone just going really straight and tight, so the results can't be that promising. A lot of things might happen in the future play. And here's the schedule for the next matchup. You can see for tomorrow's matchup day, the first game will be Scars play against Impunity, and then we're just gonna dive right into a place between teams in Group B. It's gonna be DE play against MAH, PE play against Vlog, and BSE play against Funnel. While BSE play against Funnel will decide while they still hold the same top 3 position or not. So I do want to highlight the first game and also the last game for tomorrow's matchup. And I do believe that tomorrow's matchup is going to be really fun, and hope you guys enjoy it, and hope you guys just keep following our